Hello, everybody. Welcome to ChaoticCalling Streaming. I forgot to write an intro, so we're just going to wing this stuff tonight. All right, welcome. We're going to be doing Curse of Strahd. So the first part of this will be a session 0 as we fill in the story boundaries of how we're going to start the game, and then we're actually going to get right into it. I have 5 lucky players here, lucky, that are going to try to go through the domain. So what we've decided, well, I guess I'll introduce everybody first. I'll look through our little thing here. Murdoch Oakenshield, feel free to say hi after I say your name.
Yeah, Murdoch Oakenshield.
Yeah, say hi.
Hello.
Bran Seppingan.
Hello.
Doran Rakefire.
Oh,
Julia Sky.
Hello.
And Dravos.
hello.
Dravos by any other color. Is he just the same? Who knows? But at any rate, you guys have so we're going to be starting at level 2, and we're going to be actually rolling for our adventure hook to start the game. So this is going to be interesting. So we might get into a hook that we haven't explored yet. I know we've explored a couple of them. But basically, the player's going to roll a 1d4, and then whenever we find out if anybody is going in the same direction, then we'll kind of like group them up into that story hook. Otherwise, we'll give them their own individual story hook if they roll solo. So, players, 1d4s if you would, please. Okay. So I see 2 1s, 2 2s, and a 4. Interesting. You know what? 4 for you is probably a good thing. Let's look at what number.
I totally agree.
Yeah, so Murdoch and Dravos, you're going to be in a bar together, and let's see here. Somehow we're going to have Bran and Doran. You're going to be asked by a noble to tell these visitors that are loitering in their public facility area to leave. So yeah, that'll be our starting, and then of course Julia will just be taking a nap in the woods, and then just get fog bitten, so to speak. All right.
Now I'm in a bar with who?
The same person who rolled a 1. So you and Murdoch are.
Oh, Murdoch. Okay.
So here's the thing. Let's start with you two to begin with, since that's number 1. Do you feel like your characters should know each other off the bat, or do you just want to be like drinking near each other and this person just drops a letter between the two of you?
How about I roll a D100 for it?
I mean, don't get
higher than 50 is yes, we know each other.
I mean, you could just decide that. All right, so
yeah, apparently we know each other.
Okay, so he agrees you know each other, and it's the same thing back to you, Murdoch. Do you want Oh,
Doesn't matter. That's
right.
fine.
Let's do this first. So Dravos, as the camera kind of like zooms into the bar, and we're kind of like looking over your shoulder, and then of course our Murdoch Oakenshield is off to the left of you, but the camera zooms in on you, and you're just enjoying a drink. Tell us what we see.
Well, you see a large dragonkin or dragonborn or whichever you want to call it. Golden color with golden eyes. Looks like he's just barely hit adulthood. Seems to be a bit skittish because he doesn't know many people aside from his friend Murdoch, who is sitting next to him.
All right.
And that's all I've got so far.
And then as the camera pans away from you, kind of get a good look at Oakenshield, what do we see?
Murdoch Oakenshield looks like a dwarf with tattoos on his face and a braided beard with flowers in it. His long red hair is also braided, and he has leather armor with a staff and a shield.
All right, so the pair of you are just kind of like getting your drink on. I don't know. Would you assume like maybe you guys did?
Dwarven Oakenshield is drinking a ale, and he looks over to Dravos and says, "This wheel is not as good as what I make myself."
Dravos just nods to him as he sips on his elderberry wine.
Alright, so to a party of seasoned adventurers such as yourselves, or at least the pair of you, what you see is but not another dull tavern in another town in some nameless providence. It is but another span of time between challenges of a true adventure. So there's probably a possibility you two just got done maybe hunting some wolves for a guild quest or something to that effect, and you guys just had a team up and you're just sharing a beer afterwards. Outside the tavern, a fog lies over this town this evening. The damp cobble pavements glisten as lights of street lanterns dance across the slick stones. The fog chills the bones and shivers the soul of anyone outside. Yet, inside the tavern walls, there is food, it's hearty, and the ale is warm and frothy, and the fire blazes in the hearth, and the tavern is alive with tumbling voices of country folk. Suddenly, the door slams open, and a hush falls over the room. Framed by a lamp-lit fog, a form strides through the doorway. His heavy booted footfalls, jingle of his coin, shatter the silence. And the jingle of his coin. Boy, I forgot that part. His brightly colored clothes are draped in loose folds about him, and his hat hangs askew, hiding his eyes in shadows. Without hesitation, he walks up to the pair of you, proudly in a wide stance with folded arms. In an accented voice, he says, "I have been sent to you to deliver a message. If you be creatures of honor and you will come to my master's aid at this first light, it is not advisable to travel to the Savachi woods at night. So, first light." He pulls from his tunic a sealed letter addressed to the both of you. Beautiful flowing script. He drops the letter on the bar. "Take the west road from here, some 5 hours march, down through the Savalachi woods. There you will find my master in Barovia."
What does it pay?
It's in the letter, my friend. Make sure you read it and observe it. As far as anything that I know, I was only the messenger, my friend. And amid the silence of your... I'm sorry. You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
This messenger, and I will begin to open the letter.
Alright, so as you kind of start to open the letter, amid the
Three of
silence...
us is waiting for him to open that letter first before he starts looking at his own, because Dravos is very skeptical of strangers.
Absolutely.
He's kind of hiding behind this dwarf as best he can, but he's like 7 foot tall. So he's not doing a very good job, but like he's his only friend right now. And he's just like leery of this new guy who just drops stuff in front of him, and he's not too trusting of him right now.
Well, he pats you on the shoulder, Dravos, and he says, look, fill the glasses, one and all. Their throats are obviously parched, and he drops a purse of heavy with gold on the bar. And with that, he starts to leave. So you guys want to just go ahead and deal with the letters then? Or do you want to do anything before he walks out? Alright, the babble of the tavern voices resumes, although somewhat subdued. The letter is lying before you. The seal is in the shape of a crest you do not recognize. And I will see if I can find this very letter for you, my friends. I can show you the crest real quick, so... This is the crest you see on the letter. Don't edit the other stuff that you can see.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So as you pop the seal, I'm going to go ahead and show this to you, and if either one of you want to read it, like you don't have to read the image, it's actually written out for you at the bottom. So if you want to read it, yeah, if you want to read that as your character is reading it.
Okay. Hail to thee of might and valor. I, a lowly servant of Barovia, send honor to thee. We plead for thy so desperately needed assistance. The love of my life, Irene, I can't pronounce that last name.
Kalyana.
Kalyana, has been afflicted by an evil so deadly that even the good people of our village cannot protect her. She languishes from her wound, and I would have her saved from this menace. There is much wealth in this community. I offer all that might be had to thee and thy fellows, if thou shalt but answer my desperate plea. Come quickly, for her time is at hand. All that I have shall be thine.
Kalyan Indriovich.
Kalyan, yeah.
Indriovich, I believe it is. And that is the Burgomeister.
Yep.
Alright. So basically, the question comes down to: do the pair of you have anything else you want to talk about before moving on, or?
I just discussed with him whether or not we should do it.
I'll pat my coin purse and go, Murdoch is low on coin. If the wealth of this community is ours, we shall go assist them.
Dravos kind of weighs his coin purse with his hand a little bit and he's like, mine too feels a bit low. I could use with a little more.
But first we drink.
Okay.
And with that, the camera like zooms out, and your intention is to go follow up on this. So then with that, we'll kind of go to the next pairing. Let me get familiar with what we rolled again real quick. Let's see, we rolled 2, and 2 was... Well, let me see who rolled 2 again. This is Bran and Doran. So I guess you two might know each other because the same noble sent the pair of you to go do this. Let me double check this real quick. Details of this adventure hook assumes stuff, but we're going to forego that. The Duchess Morrowind of Daggerford, or any other random city that we decide, is having guests for dinner, and you are invited. No strangers to Daggerford. You have come to town's defense on more than one occasion, and you count Lady Morrowind as a friend and a benefactor. A cool autumn breeze blows through the streets as you make your way to the keep. As you dine on hot, spicy soups and tenderly cooked pheasant, you can tell that the Duchess seems more out of sorts than usual. Then, somebody's got a beeping noise going on that didn't happen back then. And
Sorry
then,
about that. That was my phone, and I'm trying to figure out how I did that with headphones plugged into it.
yeah, alright, so then a pal comes over the occasion as she voices her concern about a band of wayward travelers camped outside the town's wall. They seem harmless at first, but Morrowind has received reports that they have begun harassing townfolk and other visitors as they come and go, demanding money and wine, and threatening to put hexes on anyone who doesn't pay up. Yesterday, the Duchess ordered several guards to scare away the mysterious visitors, but they couldn't get the job done. When the guards returned, they spoke sympathetically about the visitors. It seems as if the guards had been magically charmed. Morrowind doesn't want an armed conflict, but she aims to send a stern message to these visitors and asks the pair of you, if they do not leave before dawn, she says, I'll burn their wagons to the ground. And yeah, you guys are probably like in her study as she kind of like pulled you off to the side for this. So Bran, as she's arguing her case about these mysterious visitors, we have the camera like zoom in on you and take a good glance. Tell us what we're looking at as the camera comes on you.
As in my character?
Yep. Give us a description of what you look like.
I am a half-elf, blonde hair, the most handsome and beautiful man that you have ever seen. Clad in chainmail, shield, longsword at my hip.
And with that,
And you can tell that he is, by his stance, he is a bit full of himself.
Yeah, so she's arguing her case about these. We get a glimpse of you, and then all of a sudden the camera pans over to Doran. Doran, what are we looking at as soon as we greet you?
Well, you're looking at another half-elf. This one dark of hair, equally handsome, but with a tortured, haunted gaze that just really adds to his allure and his charisma as he, flirts ever so slightly with the Duchess while helping himself liberally to her wine provisions that she's brought out for the occasion.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think this is probably why she picked you two, because you obviously have a natural charisma. She likes you, apparently. That's just obvious. She likes you, and she thinks you'll get the job done. But then she says, if they do not leave before dawn, I'll burn their wagons to the ground. So do what you can. Deliver my message immediately. And she pretty much tells you where they're located. So at this point, the dinner kind of like wraps up, and you're escorted out of the keep, and you're able to go wherever you want at this point. Do you go towards the camp as you were asked?
Absolutely. Do we have a written message that we're delivering, or is it more just like a get out of town kind
Let me
of
check the reading.
verbal?
Okay, so she sent guards before to deliver the message. I am guessing it is a word of mouth that she's hoping you could convince them. But
Right.
she told you what she would do if they were there tomorrow.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so I think we're off to scare off these vagabonds. That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Definitely.
As the evening grows dark, you see a dozen men and women gathered around a crackling bonfire. The folk are in good spirit. A few of them sing and dance around the fire, while others find happiness in their flasks and wineskins. There's 3 barrel-top wagons that are parked in odd angles. Tied to a nearby tree, grazing, are half a dozen draft horses wearing bright coats with bangles and tassels. So you can approach this camp.
Yeah, so definitely we'll approach the camp. I might take Bran aside for a quick moment before we enter into earshot and just ask him how he'd like to approach this.
Right, go for it. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Bran, how should we deal with these folk?
Well, it would appear that they look like gypsies. We could just simply scare them off. Or tell them that we're going to burn their shit.
Tell them we're gonna burn their shit. Oh, that sounds reasonable. So yeah, how do you want to approach this? Like, you're probably a good 50 feet away, so nobody has really taken notice of you yet, but you can see the encampment.
Okay. Well, I think I will try and extend the olive branch of friendship before we bring out the torch of flame to these folks here. And Doran pulls out his lute and puts on his, best face and steps forward, trying to kind of join them in their song and merriment. And he'll, start playing a little tune, trying to impress the folk with his understanding of their music.
All right, yeah. Make me a performance check. We'll see how good you do. It's not
Ugh.
bad. I mean, it could always be better, but it was rough because this music is not something you normally hear. It feels like there's an ancient melody to it, even though you can't quite place it. So it's like some of these songs seem to have been passed down through their own generation. They're not songs that are shared widely. So it takes you a while. You kind of perform a little bit and you kind of get into the group, but it takes a little bit to get into it. And then as soon as you kind of like both approach, and I don't know, so Doran is playing. What is our Bran doing?
As he approaches, starts playing his lute, I'm going to just somewhat mess up my hair and try to blend in with the crowd.
All right, and there is a wildly old-looking fellow that kind of like noticed the pair of you, and then as the song dies down, this gentleman comes up to the pair of you and just kind of like pulls you aside. Ah, you're not from around here, are you? Well, not one of us anyway. We're the ones that are not from around here. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Danimer. How can I help you, gentlemen?
Well, Thanimer, as you say, you are not of this place, and we are acquainted with a certain duchess who is in charge of the area, and she has concerns about your presence.
She does. Whoa, please, by all means, tell me these concerns of hers.
I think the concern is that you kind of need to get out of here, is the gist of the concerns.
Oh, is that so? Don't worry, we have no wish to make enemies out of Lady Morwen. I have a story to tell all of you. First, you listen, then we go. Is that fair?
I think that sounds incredibly fair, and to show how fair that is, I will help you drink your wine.
Sure, here, have it. How about you? Would you like one too? He kind of turns over to Bran as well. Do you take wine with him?
Certainly, I will take some wine.
Yes, come. Here, come sit by the bonfire and let me tell you a tale. So he invites you all to gather around the fire to hear his tale. And as the fire crackles, Stanmer fills his mouth with wine, blup, 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 that spits it into the fire. Flames turn from orange to green as they dance and sway. Dark shapes appear in the bonfire's core. We come from an ancient land whose name is long forgotten, a land of kings. Our enemies forced us from our homes, and now we wander the lost roads. The dark shapes in the fire takes the form of a man being knocked from his horse, a spear piercing his side. Stanmer continues. One night, a wounded soldier staggered into our camp and collapsed. We nursed his terrible injury and quenched his thirst with wine. He survived when he asked him who he was. When we asked him who he was. I'm getting a little tipsy already, am I right? And they all kind of like chuckle.
Me too. Oh yeah, this is great wine.
I'm going to just stare at the mug of wine and then look at Doran.
Yeah, so when we asked him who he was, he wouldn't say. All he wanted was to return home, but we were deep in the lands of his enemies. We took him as one of our own and followed him back toward his homeland. His enemies hunted him. They said he was a prince, yet we didn't give him up, even when their assassins fell upon us like wolves. Deep in the bonfire, you see dark figures standing with swords drawn, fighting off a host of shadowy shapes. This man of royal blood fought to protect us, as we protected him. We bore him safely to his home, and he thanked us. He said, I owe you a life. Stay as long as you wish. Leave when you choose, and know that you will always be safe here. The figure in the dancing fire vanquishes its final foe, then disperses in a cloud of smoke and embers. Stanmer's face becomes somber mask. A curse has befallen our noble prince, turning him into a tyrant. We alone have the power to leave his domain. We've traveled far and wide to find heroes such as yourselves, to end our dreadlord's curse and put his troubled soul to rest. Our leader, Madame Ava, knows all. Will you return to Barovia with us and speak with her?
We are indeed, of course, great heroes. The Bran may not be much to look at, but he's great with a sword, and I think that the two of us could absolutely meet with your Madame Eva. What do you think, Bran?
Well, first of all, as you can plainly see, I am the more beautiful one.
Oh, he is pretty handsome.
Ah, you see, the old gypsy man agrees.
Couldn't agree more. Who knows, maybe you could persuade our dread lord to change his ways.
Well, this prince of yours does sound like a noble fellow fallen on ill ideas, and I think we would be
Well then, I tell you
need
what.
to try and persuade him to mend his ways.
Exactly, my friends. So, here's what I suggest. We'll start packing right now. And if you would like to accompany us, prepare your things and we'll leave right away. What do you say, my friends?
Doran looks over at Bran and kind of shrugs like, why not?
As long as there's more of this wine that makes me see stuff in fire, sure.
Oh, you're in for a treat, friend. Plenty of wine as far as the eye could see, especially when we get to where we're going. Well, come along. And the scene kind of fades back as the pair of you are preparing whatever you might need. In the back of your head, you're doing exactly as the Duchess wanted. You're helping them leave. And also, you feel driven to be a hero. And that's where we'll leave you two for now. Hey, that was actually a pretty good scene. I like that one. That was a handout that showed what this guy looked like with the fire, if you didn't see it. But let's go to the final scene where if you guys would have...
pretty cool.
Yeah, if you guys wouldn't have done this, you guys would have been pulled into this next scene. But at any rate, so, Julia, you are traveling somewhere, and you're just in between towns. The only way to get a good night's rest is to find an out-of-the-way location. The woods are quiet this night. The air grows chill, Your fire sputters as a low mist gathers around the edges of your camp. What do you do? Or as the camera pans to you, tell us what we're looking at.
Well, right now, as I stare into the campfire, who you see right now is, well, me relaxed, not having to hide myself in the way since I am alone and by myself. Right now, you see a very huge red woman with the curled horns laying by the campfire, just relaxing and talking to herself about her day, what she did, how she plans to continue on to find this weird city that she found through her information and sources.
Your fire sputters as low mist gathers around the edge of your camp, growing closer as the night wears on. By morning, the fog hangs thick in the air, turning the trees around you into gray ghosts. And then as you wake up, you notice these aren't the same trees that surrounded you the night before.
Oh, where am I?
That is
What
a
is-
good question.
What? What? I immediately get up, confused, realizing that everything I was around or surrounding me is not the same, and I'm a little bit panicked.
Alright, let's see here. So, yeah. So basically what you see before you is woods on either side, and you're on a road now that has a path that leads westward, and then there's an encroaching mist that's just blocking everything to the east. You were originally heading west, so you don't know if maybe you're hold on one second. Sorry about that.
Quick, someone do acapella.
Yeah, well, I could probably do that here in a second, but at any rate. So basically, you see, I guess I'll go into the first scene here. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Alright, so let me look up something real quick here. I think it is.
Pretty sure we all understand that life happens, bro.
Yeah. So basically, I'm just gonna ask, are you traveling away from your camp at this point to explore further west, or?
I would, because, well, there's no point of staying around and, not analyzing where I am.
Yeah, so the fog spills out in the forest to swallow up the road behind you. Ahead, jutting from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the road, are high stone buttresses, looming gray in the fog. Huge iron gates hang on the stonework. Dew clings with a cold tenacity to the rusted bars. Two headless statues of armed guardians flank the gate, their heads now lying among the weeds at their feet. They greet you only with silence, and I got a handout for you. This is kind of like what you're seeing right now.
That's pretty dope.
That is pretty badass.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this module. A lot of good looking artwork already done. But as you kind of like approach these gates, let's see here. So, either try and debate which one you would probably see. You hear the sound of carriages from behind. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to start. There's like 3 or 4 carriages on the road. You can hear it coming. Nobody's noticed you yet, but you're right here outside the gates. What do you do?
Well, I panic, and then since I hear people immediately, I curse under my breath, going like, oh, not now, not now.
Mm-hmm.
And with a flick of my wrist, I transform myself, hiding my original form.
And now what are
And
we
slowly
looking at?
turn.
Yeah, go for it.
Right now, you're looking at a one that's slightly shorter. That is a half-elf wearing scholarly robes, carrying a massive book, waiting by the road now, preparing.
Yeah, so as you're waiting on the road, these carriages start pulling up, and you see an old man who's like seated in one of the carriages. just sitting off to the side, along with another guy who is actually driving the carriage, and he kind of like calls out, young lady, are you okay? Do you need a ride?" And their carriage starts to approach you.
I run to them and I act as if frustrated and angry. Well, finally, someone's here.
Finally, indeed. And by the way, I believe this is Bran and Doran. You're in the back seat of one of these carriages as you were, coming down this way with them. We got a couple of visitors in the second wagon, dear. If you want to join them, we could take you closer to town if you like.
Much appreciated. My escort abandoned me here, and
Oh,
I'm
you
just
poor dear.
desperately looking for a...
Desperately looking for
So-
what?
Oh, I was planning to do a trip to find some sort of research that I was seeked out to head. So, they ditched me because they thought it was too dangerous of some sort. All I wanted was to find documentation and stuff and head back home.
Well, dear, come, get in the second carriage there. There's a couple of gentlemen in there you'll have to share, but there's plenty of room, and you're more than welcome to join them, and we'll take you straight to town.
Wonderful. The sooner the better.
All right, and coming up behind the carriages would also be Dravos and Murdoch. So here's a question, and I'll let you pick. Either you walked, or I'll give you each a draft horse.
Murdoch would definitely appreciate the draft horse.
Same.
All right, then you both have draft horses, and that's how you were able to catch up to the caravan. And so, yeah, behind them, they kind of like, there's a guy in the back carriage, kind of like notice him, and he kind of like whistles, like alerting somebody. And then the old man looks behind as he jumps down, and he's like, come dear, I'll escort you, and I need to see who these other visitors are that are right behind us. Maybe we can help them as well. And he leads you into the second carriage and lets you get inside with Bran and Dorn.
Dravos, look at that gate. I wonder how old it is. It looks very nice. It probably is dwarven architecture.
I don't know. If it was Dwarven architecture, I don't think the heads would be missing.
Well, clearly it's old and someone fucked with it, but it is
Someone
dwarven
fucked with it.
architecture.
I love it.
I'll take your word for it.
This old man comes behind this other carriage and he claps his hands together and says, "Gentlemen, welcome! Are you traveling westward, I see?"
Yes, we have come for riches and to save a lady.
"Oh, well then, maybe I can help you get to Barovia if that's where you're headed."
I believe it is.
"Well then, by all
Let me
means."
look at the letter.
Yeah.
Dravos just nods in agreement to him so that he doesn't have to check the letter to let him know that yes, Barovia is where we're headed. But he doesn't say anything. He just nods his head because there's a person he doesn't know nearby, and he's shy like that.
Yeah.
Apparently, yes.
So yeah, he smiles and he claps his hands. "Well then, safety in numbers. Stay with us, and we'll get through this together, okay?"
And Dravos moves his horse a little closer up to the back of the carriage and just like keeps pace with it.
All right. Meanwhile, Doran and Bran, you see Julia walk into your carriage and take a seat.
So Doran's a little bit surprised to see yet another half-elf appear in his immediate presence. He's not used to being around so many of his own kind, and he's slightly intoxicated, but still trying to keep it together. And he kind of gives a half-hearted bow and introduces himself. Well, good evening, lady. My name is Doran, and sort of tries to fumblingly take her hand in a greeting.
I pull my hand away immediately because I could smell the alcohol off of you, and I smear and look at you and say, "I am not going to be near you if you smell of the lines of things you drink."
you hear a chuckle from the front of the carriage saying, "Well, she's not going to be around a lot of us if that's the case."
Well, yeah, no, come on, enjoy some of the wine. These Vistani, they've got some good wine. It's nice. And he tries to like hand over a cup to the lady.
I don't drink with strangers. If you want me to drink with you, we first have to meet.
Pardon me, of course. Let me introduce myself. My name is Doran. I'm the bard for every occasion. And then he looks around for his lute and finds it kind of stuck in a bunch of junk and yanks it out and sort of starts to tune it a little bit, trying to get ready for it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And while he's tuning it, I want to motion to introduce myself as well, and I'll say, I'm the man with no name. Brand Zappigan at your service.
Man, we know that.
Did you say the
Why
man
do
with
I
no
have-
brain? Is that what you said?
Why do I have a
Name.
feeling that was a Futurama reference?
Probably was.
You know it isn't. I just
Possibly.
with the brand, I just kind of instantly like, oh my god.
So yeah, the
Can't wait till you meet
carriages.
my retainers.
Yeah. Well, the carriages start moving. Speaking of your retainers, they're not here with you today. But at any rate, you guys pass through the gate, and the gate opens as soon as the first carriage gets to it. And then all four of them go through, and then the pair of you at the end. Let me see here.
As
I sh-
Murdoch goes through the gate, I would like to make a intelligence check to see the history and what I know about this giant gate.
Well, yeah, go for it. Do you see dwarven? I guess you've got stoneworking or whatnot.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I'll hold on. I'll get the BS going here in just a sec. No. All right. So yeah, these ancient gates were probably dwarven made, just like you said. They were probably built good 700, maybe 800 years. But as you enter through the gates that open up as soon as the Vistani get there, the last of your party goes through the gates, and then all of a sudden you hear the loud creaking of the gate closing. And metal on metal locks in place. And you continue westward, unless there's anything else you want to do as you're leaving the gates.
See, Drevos, I told you it was dwarven. It must have been those filthy orcs that took off the heads. That is the only option. I do not know.
Dravos just nods his head because he's still around a bunch of people he doesn't know. And he takes out his religious relic and is just quietly praying to himself as he's going through the doors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there's that loud clang, ominous, that just kind of like rings out as you look behind you and you see the doors have opened and shut on their own.
Question, what is the weather like?
Misty, obscured, very cloudy. Like the
Okay.
sun barely shines through. Like you know it's daytime, but you know those days where there's just too much overcast and it just seems like
Right.
it's close to evening or morning. That's the feel that it gives you. But should be around noon or so. And like you've traveled down the road, and for about an hour before you met up with these guys, it just started to get really foggy all of a sudden. You were in clear skies before, and then it got foggy, and then it got even deeper with the cloud covering, and then eventually you got
And then
to
it
this
just
one.
got straight dreary.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and from here on, according to this, you guys can make it to Barovia without incident. But as you guys are traveling along this road, towering trees whose tops are lost in the heavy gray mist block out all but death gray light. The tree trunks are unnaturally close to one another. The woods have a silence of a forgotten grave, yet exude of a feeling of an unvoiced scream. Interesting dialect they decide to use there.
Would this be considered a forest?
Yes.
Okay. So with this being considered a forest, I do have Natural Explorer Forest.
Uh-huh.
Anyone in my party, if we're in a forested area, they do not take a movement penalty to moving through brush
Well,
unless it's by magical means.
That shouldn't be a problem.
If I'm
Everybody's
reading
in a
that
cart.
correct.
Yeah, they're in a cart right now, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Oh yeah.
All right, Murdoch. For some reason, you kind of like breathe in the air around you, and there's this scent that just smells awful as you guys start to pass by. Up to you if you want to try to stop them to investigate, or do you just keep going, whatever you feel there.
What does it smell like?
Oh, let me double check what it says it smells like. Because apparently I was a dumbass and decided to close it. Oh, there it is. It has the scent of death.
Dravos, do you smell that? It smells like murder.
Dravos is going to take a big whiff in the air, see if he notices it too. Do I need to roll anything?
You would have to, yes. His passive perception allowed him to catch this whiff.
Let's see. Perception, you say?
Yep. Nostrils in the air. You get a big whiff of the mist and just nothing else. Like it just, you wind up sneezing all of a sudden, unable to pick up.
Yeah, I thought that's what that was going to do.
But
as soon as
Murdoch-
I seen that 4.
You get the sensation that the scent gets stronger if you go southward off the road. But, you know, the caravan's continuing. It's up to you whether or not you want to take it.
Murdoch will shout out to the caravan, "Old man, do you smell the death?"
He rode in the first carriage. Do you want to ride up there and try to stop the caravan in general then? I mean, it's easy for you to navigate to the front
Yes.
pretty quickly. All right, yeah.
Murdoch would like to do that.
All right, so Murdoch like goes from the back and starts rushing his horse to catch up to the first carriage, and then the old man sees you catching up. Something wrong, friend.
Yes, Murdoch smells the death. Do you smell it?
I mean, it's pretty commonplace in certain places around here. Would you like to?
It's coming from the south.
Or do you want to take a look around? I can have everybody stop for a moment. We could take a quick break, right? Yes. By all means, my friend. If you want to stay with the caravan, you may investigate for a little bit if you wish.
Yes, let us do that.
All right. So you're going to follow the scent. And anybody else, like you notice the caravan stop for especially the 3 of you. And the guy who's driving your carriage kind of like leans over to the window and says, they're stopping for a quick break. If you guys want to get out, stretch your legs for a few moments, they want to investigate some strange smell.
Well, Dravos is not going to let his only friend that he has in the area go by himself, so Dravos is going to go with.
Yeah, this was mainly to the 3 that were in the carriage.
Yeah, Doran feels the need to, take advantage of maybe a nearby tree. So he'll definitely get out of the carriage to do that.
I love the way you put that. That was very well placed.
Oh yeah.
See, that was Doran or Bran? I'm still learning.
That was Doran.
All right, so Bran, are you staying in the carriage or?
I'll get out and stretch my legs as well.
And Julia, what about you? You want to hang in or hang out?
I'm gonna have to step out because I don't want to raise suspicion of, just being by myself. So I'll just follow.
Right.
Because, well, there's 2 half-elves that I'm familiar with, or at least feel familiar with.
You share a common feature. You see, I believe it was Murdoch, right? It was Murdoch that was leading this?
Yes,
Alright.
that is correct.
Alright, so Murdoch, you're kind of like sniffing the air. You kind of got a hint where it's starting to get stronger. Dravos is right behind you.
Dravos pulls his bow out
Did we go into the woods yet?
and readies an arrow
Not
just
yet.
in case.
You're still on the road, and I'm only mentioning this because the 3 that were in the carriage, you see 2 well-armored and armed people who are like moving south off the road, who seem to be investigating like the reason why they stopped. So you can choose whether or not you're interested in following in or stay put. This is kind of like a chance for you all to start being a party.
You 3 and the old man, who would like to accompany us to figure out where the death smell is coming from?
The old man smirks and says, I have no interest, don't you worry that. But you're welcome to go ahead and take a sniff.
Doran hears this and puts his nose up to the breeze to see if he can smell what they're talking about.
Make a perception. Easily enough, you can smell the hint of death, like a dead body is nearby.
Yeah, so Doran finishes his business with the tree and says, something does smell foul. I'll come with you.
Couldn't be that diarrhea, could it? No, I kid.
Oh wow!
That was a dead scent. No, my apologies. That was rude.
Dravos leans in close to, is it Murdoch that I've been traveling with?
Yes.
Making sure here. Okay. Yeah, Dravos leans in close to Murdoch and whispers in his ear. Looks like we got a couple of pretty boys traveling with us. I wonder if they are as good with their weapons as they are with their looks.
Well, they are pointy-eared, so I strongly doubt it. As they get closer,
Fair point. And then stands back up as if he had said nothing.
These parties got split correctly, didn't they?
They did.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And then as they get closer, Murdoch will go, do not be afraid. I will do magic now. You may not know what this is. And now we'll be turned into a dire wolf.
You would do magic now.
Dravos would have seen this hundreds of times by now, so he's used to
A
it.
few more, yeah. So yeah, you go into sniffer mode as a dire wolf. What about I just kind of like want to get a beat on Julia and Bran real quick to make sure if you're following or if you're just lingering. I just want to get a beat on what you guys are up to.
Yeah, Bran doesn't. He'll say, I don't care much for foul smells, but I'll walk around with you.
I definitely will. When I pop out of the carriage and I see just the four men, just gathering together, I go like, "Oh my god, another sausage fest."
Jeez.
So, I then kind of will follow Bran though, because out of the elves I encountered so far, which is, well, only two now, Bran seems to be the one that I just feel less fearful of.
Right.
So
Feel
I
more
walk up to
comfortable
Bran.
around.
All right.
Yeah, that
So
works
basically,
Is it because he's prissy?
I'm not going to touch that one.
think it was the intro, but anyway, my friends, as we kind of go towards this scene, basically, if you need to know your seats, probably somewhere around here. Going off the road, the foul scent leads. Well, first off, the dire wolf kind of like leads the way, right? And you all start to follow. And then the foul scent leads you to a human corpse half buried in the underbrush about 15 feet from the road. The young man appears to be a commoner. His muddy clothes are torn and raked with claw marks. Crows have been at the body, which surrounded by paw prints. The man obviously been dead for several days. He holds a crumpled envelope in one hand.
Murdoch will be pointing like a bird dog, pointing at the body.
Dravos walks up to Murdoch. I see it. And then goes and starts like checking the pockets, like looking for identification or, any good weapons he may still have on him, like arrows.
Good. First off, you do see the letter that's in his hands. Do you want to pick that up?
I'll definitely be grabbing that.
And just let me check to see if this thing had anything else. Like, you just see what looks like a carrier bag that has nothing else in it but the letter itself. Other than that, like, his whole shirt has been ripped up and any weapons that he would have had are lost or nowhere nearby.
Okay. Yeah, the only reason I said that about the weapons is because I just realized, like, I took, like, what I was supposed to take, but it gave me a bow with only one arrow. And I'm like, what the... That's good for one shot,
No. Give yourself 20, friend. I'll let you... You should have a whole quiver. Go ahead and put 20 on
Okay,
there.
thank you.
No, absolutely. Like, everybody should start with at least a quiver. I don't know why you would only have one arrow. But yeah, so Murdoch is currently in wolf form and smelling. Murdoch, make a perception check for me, as there's other scents that you could probably pick up on. And you
Murdoch
get
has advantage.
Yes, sure
sir.
you We know our
That was
things.
heat.
No, that was pretty good considering you're only level 2, right? Well, you're a direwolf, so it don't matter, I guess. But you pick up the scent of other direwolves nearby.
Murdoch would like to go into Strahd to explain this to the party.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Can't wait.
DM,
Yes, that's me.
I'm gonna post this in the Roll20 thing to have you take a look at it because I have a question about this. Now, would that not mean that I would also know that they are nearby?
Let me see. I don't think so. Like, they're not within the same vicinity of you, but they're the smell of direwolf. Like, he's picking up their scent from being here before.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay,
yeah,
I just wanted to make sure because I know it says on here that whenever I'm in the forest, like I know, like I can. Hold on,
yeah,
let me
like
reread this.
there's some specifics to it, but we can go into it in
Yeah.
detail when it actually comes up. This doesn't really apply here, but
I
yeah,
did want to make sure.
yeah, but yeah, that also says you have to be traveling for an hour within. But at any rate, you
Right.
you. So we're playing charades now with the direwolf that's before you. That is Murdoch. Go ahead, Murdoch.
Murdoch attempts to point at himself with his paws and then point at the body and the footprints. Or palm
You
prints.
did this.
Yeah.
So
What would
now,
What would
so
I
now-
have to roll to try to guess this?
That's awesome.
make an insight
Oh
check on him.
no!
Make an insight check.
Insight?
Yeah, you gotta.
Oh, nice. I'm proficient with insight. Cool.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, so Dravos could pick up what you're putting down. So he's basically motioning to himself like Direwolf did this.
Does
And they're
anyone
in
else
the
seem to
area.
understand?
You want to make an insight check? Go for it. And this is just to find out if you individually know. This DC is like a 10, so if you roll low, then you think he did it.
If no one else seems to
Well,
be like they
Dravos was just
understand.
going to tell everybody anyways, so.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, but Doran could have let us on.
Wolf did
trip
it.
if we-
He's the one. And Doran draws his dagger and is kind of wavering a little bit, unsure, but also trying to protect the group a little bit.
So Doran goes
Dravos-
into a protective
Dravos
stance.
literally sees this and draws his arrow back and says, "If you attack him, I will put an arrow between your eyes. Back off."
Oh, was it?
And Doran immediately sheathes his dagger and says, I may have misinterpreted the animal's intentions. I apologize.
And then Dravos translates what he was saying so that Dorian no longer tries to attack him.
All right.
I talked to Brand.
No,
Oh,
go-
I don't know his name yet.
yeah. Well,
I
no,
really
he,
just say-
he introduced himself.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's
Sorry.
the man with no name, Bran Zebigan.
Mr. No Name.
uh,
What the blast is that weird wolf, dragon, and your friend do?
I'm sorry, you were like breaking up. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, let me try again. I was just saying, like I said, Mr. No Name. What is going on with that weird wolf, dragon, and your friend?
Well, that's a good question.
fair.
Well, I just see a bunch of buffoons right now in front of me.
All right. All of a
Seeing
sudden,
the confusion, Murdoch will hold up his paw and then howl.
as you howl, you hear another howl. Oh, in the distance.
Murdoch will raise two paws.
Oh my gosh!
Can I tell which direction that the other howl came from?
Southeasterly.
Okay.
What do you guys do?
David is going, or God dang it, I keep using my real name. Dravos is going to go into stealth,
All right.
and I'm going to go ahead and roll that right quick.
Murdoch will follow suit.
Yeah, go for it. Stealth checks. Bravos, you're gone.
Poof fetish.
Oh, my God.
And you have the stealth as a dire wolf.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Apparently
these two
it's
are...
one better.
Yeah.
It's technically 13.
Okay, yeah. And so you see the pair of them try to hide out somewhere, and then you lose sight of Dravos. You could probably still make out Murdoch if you're passive, it's 13, or if you're just following them, then you could probably still make out the big old dire wolf hiding in a bush. But what do the rest of you do?
Doran's still a little bit confused as to what exactly is happening, so he's just going to kind of survey the area and, just try and figure out what the heck is going on.
Make a perception check then, my friend.
What you want? Justice. Oh wait, that was Star.
All right, yeah, that was me rolling something. All right, so your perception check, like you hear that howl in the wind. You can tell it's off in the southern direction, off to the east a little ways from where you came, and not sure it's friendly or not. But what has been pieced together before you, looking at the body, this body has been mutilated, probably by such things as the creature that found it, a dire wolf. Basically, you've already understood that that's what they were trying to convey, that dire wolves have done this to this body. Currently, there is a letter that is on Dravos, I believe. And
yes.
Okay, so you did grab the letter. Okay.
Yeah,
I did.
Yep, so you would have
I
noticed
stuck
that
it in my
as well.
pocket.
And then Dravos just kind of like disappears. Like, even with that perception check, you don't even know where exactly he is. He stepped behind a tree, and then his silhouette just disappeared. But in...
Yeah, imagine a really tall, gold-colored dragonkin and just poof, gone.
As you turn around, you can notice that the drivers are getting back on their seat in the carriage. And the old man's like, if you guys are going to be any longer, we're going to leave you. And if we wind up leaving you, just keep going west. You'll find the town. And he starts to go towards his seat at the front. What do the three of you do, since you're the only ones not hiding at the moment?
I'll go for it.
Yeah, I'd probably attempt to pursue.
Pursue the caravan or the dire wolf sound?
The direwolf sound.
Ooh, interesting. All right. So, okay, who is that doing that? Doran? Or is that Bran? Okay, I'm still learning names. I will get you mixed up. Please forgive me. There's only one person I can... Well, technically two that I would recognize off the bat. So, Bran starts moving in the direction of the howl. What do the rest of you do, especially those
You
in
say the
stealth?
sound was to the southeast. Is that kind of like in this area? Or...
All right, so let's mark this map a little bit. All right, so yeah,
Down there. Okay.
like right here is
Okay.
where you are, and you went this way to find the body, and then the noise is coming from like in this direction. And it's
Murdoch would follow suit as stealthily as possible in dire wolf form.
all right.
Dravos is moving, obviously, stealthily in that direction towards the sounds to try to get a better idea of what they're up against.
All right, three of them going in that direction. What about the other two?
I turn back and I look at the caravan and I kind of just smell the alcohol, just spewing from that carriage. And I literally am just like, no, I'm not going now. There with that.
All right.
I'll just follow you, Mr. No Name.
And what do you do, no name?
So yeah, if Doran sees everyone else heading off into the forest, he's like, why not, and follows off with them.
All right, so let's do a marching order. And the further to the right you are, the further ahead of the group you are, and the further behind you are is to the left. And just kind of like line up in a way that, kind of keeps you together. Like, don't take the entire map, but, kind of pace yourselves where you want to be at the start of this. As you're
You said
moving in.
left is in front.
Left is in behind. That, we'll say like this middle line is the front line.
Okay.
So this is front, and then this is the back where everybody's coming from. So you two are taking, I think, Dorn would be up front too, right?
He was kind of the last to follow, but he
Or
could be
weren't you
front
the
line.
first one? Weren't you the first one that said I was going to go towards him? Like
Oh,
everybody
that
else.
was
No, that was
Bran.
me.
Oh, that was
me.
Brand.
That was
Brand's
Bran.
already.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brand's
Good
up.
looking Bran's in the front.
All right, so
Don't hurt your face, Bran.
All right, so Brand, go ahead and take the lead. You guys are following with stealth, so you'll be further behind him just a little bit. So we'll put Brand. Brand is the blonde one, right?
Yes.
All right, so we'll put you right here, all right? And then you can realign yourselves accordingly. Move a little closer if you feel like you need to be with your party. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and start reading off the next scene.
Murdoch is going to stay on the outside and try to flank.
All right, that sounds good.
Dravos on the other side doing the same.
Falling behind Brand, really not super closely, but close enough.
Trying to make sure I close everything I don't need, but have everything out that I do need. So, basically, you hear the howling getting closer and closer. 2 times it's howled, 3 times it's howled, and you're pacing yourself even closer. And then within, let me see here, how should we do this? Let me grab some dire wolves. As you get closer to the situation, you see what looks like 5 dire wolves in a pack. I'll start these bad boys down here. And depending upon what you want to do as you notice them, will depend whether or not we go into initiative. So what's the intent? What do you want to do, guys?
Murdoch would like to intimidate them into thinking he is the alpha.
By the way, I need to give I need to give you a direwolf token, don't I?
Yes, that would be preferable.
Yeah, let me do that. So I'm gonna pull this over here. I'm gonna rename it. And then this goes to Murdoch, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Alright, Murdoch, you should be able to move this token right here. Do keep your token somewhere on the map, but you can put it somewhere off to the side because it needs to stay revealed so you can use your initiative. But, so you're going to try to growl at them and intimidate them then. Yeah, so you start... How close do you want to get before you start, holding your stance?
I would like to make a perception check to try to figure who the current alpha is, and then to growl specifically at that one.
Yeah, make me a perception check.
Using a wolfy wolf, you will press perception.
Dravos is just going to move down to here a little bit, and seeing as he's still stealthed, he's just got like an arrow notch and is holding his action until they either decide to attack or till they figure out what they're doing.
What was your stealth again?
I rolled a 25.
Alright, that was close. I got a 21 on it, so they don't know you're there. But, yeah, how close do you get as a direwolf, Murdoch?
Murdoch would like to... Do I know which one is the alpha from my current
this guy
position?
right here seems to be leading the pack.
Murdoch would like to go about right there as stealthily as possible and then get his attention with a hoof and then growl at him into submission.
Make an intimidation check as a direwolf? What is
Okay,
intimidation?
technically-
Charisma?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a 0.
Yep, then roll.
Oh, wow.
That's a nice
That's
intimidation.
impressive.
And then we'll roll an insight. But then again, they kind of like cower for a moment, growl back, and then all of a sudden you see him like lean his head to the others in the pack, and then they all look ready to attack. So now I need everybody to go ahead and click on their token and roll for initiative. We are in our first
Oh my
initiative for
gosh.
Curse of Strahd.
First initiative.
So,
Hey, Jacob Blackbait.
Ooh.
when you roll initiative, Murdoch, make sure you roll as your character. Especially since I have direwolves.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, so technically it's gonna be a plus. It's gonna be a 7 instead of a. Oh, I was selecting the wrong token. My bad.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I wasn't highlighted either.
Yeah, make
I
sure
got
you-
I got a 13.
Well, select your
I'll
token and
click it.
reroll. If you haven't got on there, select your token and reroll. Because basically, you gotta do it over.
Yeah, it should be a 7, so you can delete my 6. Sorry about that.
You should be fine now. There you go. So, see, we got Dorm, we got the Direwolves, we got Murdoch, Bran, Direwolf. Oh, wait, this Direwolf needs to go away because he don't count anymore. Murdoch's on there separately. We got Dravos, Bran. Do we have Julia?
Yeah, I rolled a 7.
You have to select your token first.
Yeah, Bran's on there twice. How's that happening?
I only see myself on there once.
Let's see.
I only see him on there once.
What did you roll, Bran? Because
I got a 13.
Alright, cool. I saw a 7 with your name on there too. Alright, so there's Julia. There we go. In descending order. So, what we see is your direwolf approaching their direwolf, and he gives an intimidating growl and roar, and it shudders the first one. And what I'm going to do as a reward is give him disadvantage on his first attack. So, if he attacks any of you, he'll have disadvantage. So, your intimidation did something. But he commands his group to get ready to attack because he's not going to have any of this. And Aurea or Julia, you realize this, and what do you want to do?
Well, before that, I thought I updated that. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta, let's see here. I think it's the name of the...
I put it on the character sheet.
Yeah.
I fixed it.
You'd have to change the name on the token.
Oh, that must have been before.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
Oh,
things that have to be done. Like, I could change this for you.
that'll help me out. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'll change it for you real quick. But at any rate, what would you like to do for your turn?
Well, since I was the very first to notice that there's a bunch of wolves, I actually will back up about 15 feet and ready my action with my crossbow.
Alright, and what are we ready? In case they attack somebody, or...
Whoever gets close to another person, I just ready my crossbow. So if they get close to, let's say, the Dragonborn, I'll shoot for that.
That sounds good. Alright, so basically if they become engaged, that sounds good. Doran, you're up next.
So Doran sees that the pack leader of the dire wolves seems a little bit cowed. So he turns his attention to one of the other dire wolves and just kind of looks at it and is like, "This is the mangiest looking dire wolf I've ever seen." Continues to insult its appearance and its provenance, and
one here.
so that's what he's up to.
Alright, mock it. Mock it viciously, my friend.
So he is mocking it viciously, yeah.
Alright.
And I'm just trying to bring up my character sheet because I dropped that somehow.
I really want to see this roll.
Yeah, what is it, Iro? Should be able to click it so we can see it.
It's right here. There it is.
Here we go. So I need to make a whiz. It growls in your direction, not taking any shenanigans from some flimsy bard who just entered this realm, this domain. And he just growls and he's like, he looks at you specifically like you're his target now.
Okay, so that's unfortunate. As a bonus action, Doran looks over at Murdoch in his beast form and compliments him mightily on the his glistening fur and all that good stuff, and gives him some bardic inspiration.
All right, you got a D6 on your next
Actually,
attack roll or saving throw, I believe.
He gets a D6 on whatever he's going to do next.
Right. Do you want to move, or are you good where you are?
Yeah, that's a good position. I'm going to stay there.
All right. With Bran's turn done, encouraging the direwolf that's on their side, we become the other direwolves, not the one that's on your side. So, I guess...
I believe that was Doran, and we skipped Bran.
Yeah, I got scooped.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bran, please. Go ahead, take your turn. I'll move back. Got confused again. Sorry, guys. I'll get it right.
It's all good. But
They are very similar. They smell the same.
They smell the same. Too much cologne.
He's blonde! We're not similar at all. We're totally different.
But they used the
I'm gonna
same
move to the
cologne.
closest dire wolf.
All right. Yeah, the one that was mocked and looked like it was ready to go for your friend. You close in on it. What do you want to do? Or, I don't. Yeah, that's your friend.
I will swing my longsword.
All right. Make that attack happen. Ooh, that hits. Are you sure you're level 2?
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's one nice,
Okay.
nice swing.
Get your charisma modifier with your attack?
that's weird, huh?
I'm a Hexblade Warlock.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Alright, so you lunge forward and you swing the sword, you cleave into the front of its fur, and you rip a good old gut of the front chest piece, so his chest is like starting to bleed out. And you manage to land 7 points of damage. Anything else for your turn?
That's it.
Alright, let's see what we do next. Alright, so this is you guys, and this guy here is definitely alpha on alpha, so to speak. So he's going to go in for an attack over there. I'm going to move first before I do my attacks. This one will come over here.
That one doesn't know I'm there because
Oh
they
yeah,
rolled
hold
a
on.
21.
I'll move. So he's got about... That's
I
fine.
just wanted to remind you.
That's fine. I'll go after your other friends. It's perfectly fine.
What? No, wait. Oh, come on.
Wait, can we talk about this?
Cannot take an action. He dashed. This one did not though. So yeah. The one on top dashed from way back, but we'll start from the left to the right. So first up is let me double check. Doran. Yeah, Doran, how you doing? friend?
Yes.
You get the first bite. How's a 21 feel?
That will definitely hit.
I need a strength saving throw from you, and you take 9 piercing as these claws, or this mouth bites down on your forearm, and he tries to rip you to the ground.
Jesus. Strength.
I'm using
Gonna do the thing. There it is. Hey! See? Doran's alright.
Yeah, so as it tries to rip you to the ground, you hear a piece of your shirt kind of rip, and then he just loses grip on you, and he's just growling, getting ready for another attack. But he will not
My
make that.
favorite shirt!
Yeah, I know. Them are the breaks, my friend. All right, next we'll go to Direwolf on Direwolf. Murdoch, we get an 8, especially with disadvantage. And that disadvantage is no longer there. He kind of steals himself after missing, and that's his turn. We got 2 attacks for Bran. There we go. I'm learning names. We're getting there. So 14 and an 11. Do any of those hit you, Bran?
Negative. I have,
Technically, they have advantage because of the
Ooh,
pack tactics.
pack tactics. That is correct.
I was about to say
Oh,
the
yeah.
same thing.
So a
Whose
21.
side are you on?
The 21 definitely hits.
The side of fairness. Thank you for watching out for me. Yeah. So yeah, you are you wearing a shield, or is this just all chainmail or whatnot?
Shield, chainmail, and shield.
Alright. So yeah, you deflect one off with the chain or the shield, and then your sword arm gets bit by the other wolf that was on your other side. You just kind of like missed him out of your peripheral, and he's trying to pull you down now. And I need a strength saving throw from you.
Oof.
And you take 12 piercing damage. Nice. And he rips off whatever's left and slides off your arm. You pull your arm away, and you take that 12 piercing damage. These wolves hurt. And I think that's all of them. The other one up there at top did not go because it had a dash.
I just wanted to check, since I did ready in action, can I use it to attack one of the wolves?
Yes, you may.
Oh, if that wolf was like charging straight at me, I'm gonna shoot it in the face.
Okay, I'll let you have regular attack on it because it was coming at you. So, like, it would be at disadvantage if it was right in front of you, but since you said that, it's coming towards you, it's probably way over here somewhere, and then you fire off. So go ahead and make that attack. You fire off, and it just fires off. And that's it.
Oh, crap.
We have no idea where that bolt went. Yeah, that crossbow of yours just seems to be acting up right now. Right, direwolves are done. Murdoch.
it was a misfire.
Murdoch would like to bite the fake alpha in front of him.
Oh, go for it. Bite him. That hurts, and that's 10 piercing. And he will make that strength save, just like he makes you make that strength save. Alright. So we got 2 dogs over here fighting, and we get a... Wow, really? Okay.
Murdoch would like to try to pin him with the trip attack, and
Yeah,
then
pretty-
look at the other wolves in
Yeah.
a sling.
Yeah, so right now you got him down on the ground. You pull him down, and you're on top of him. Anything else for your turn?
That is it for Murdoch.
Good turn, Burnock. Alright, Dravos.
Seeing that the lady has gotten to a bit of trouble, Dravos is going to attempt to shoot the dire wolf that is attacking her with his longbow.
Alright, go ahead and make that attack.
15.
15 does hit.
All right. 10 piercing.
That's some good damage. I mean, he's still alive, so arrow comes soaring out of nowhere. And you would technically have had advantage, but 15 is what you rolled high. And it hits him in the hind, and you can hear him like give out a yelp, and his butt goes up in the air halfway, and then he like looks to see the stab stick in his ass. And then he growls in your direction, and he's kind of like in between 2 places.
I'm guessing my stealth is broke now because I
It
attacked.
is, yes. And you have no
Okay,
way to
making
go
sure.
back in. And you have no way to go back
So
out.
that was my attack. I'm going to take my move now.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And that's where I will end my turn.
Alright. Julia. There's a dire wolf in front of you who just got stabbed in the butt with an arrow.
Oh, I appreciate the arrow.
Yeah, something hit. What would you like
Well,
to
I'm definitely not going to stand by the wolf, so I'm going to take my max movement, which is about 30 feet.
do? So you take an AO or using an action to disengage?
Oh,
Disengaging,
right,
or
I
did
forgot
you...
about that.
Yeah, but it burns your action, so it's up to you. What do you want to do?
Let's see, I can't really disengage without being attacked.
No, you can disengage.
So,
That's what...
Disengaged nullifies their ability to attack.
But it's your action, so that would be the only thing you can do.
Yeah, you'd lose your action.
that's my problem.
Alright, yeah. So unless you just move away, he'll take an attack of opportunity on you.
Well, I might as well take advantage of the fact that he got shot in the butt, so yeah, I will move away then.
I mean, it's not going to stop him from attacking you, though. Yeah. Well, let me reiterate. I might have said that wrong. So, like, if you walk out of his threat range without being able to disengage, he will take an attack of opportunity. That burns his reaction, but he can do that. And you can do that, too, if he winds up running away from you.
Oh, then, is it possible that I could pull out my dagger and then just stab the wolf?
Yeah, absolutely. Positive. Yes.
Let's do that.
Yeah, a dagger is pretty easy. It's a finesse weapon. You just sling it out. And, yeah, go ahead and make the attack. Not happening, though. You kind of, like, rip this dagger out, and then you try to stab at the wolf. Now, I will ask, like, I haven't done this in a long time, but this wasn't a critical fail. But I want to ask, do you guys want consequences to critical fail, or do you want to just let it be?
I say just let it be.
Let it be.
What do you mean by consequences? Do you want to elaborate on that?
What do you think I mean by consequences? Like, if you hit a 1, your arrow goes astray and has a possibility of hitting an ally instead of an enemy, or something like that.
I'm very into that kind of stuff, but I don't want to force it
Yeah,
on
yeah.
everybody else.
No
if they're
problem.
not.
Yeah,
As
if
long
it,
as
I can play either way. I can play either way. It's just I like the let it be side because I don't want to accidentally kill somebody and
that
then
is
them
very
go
true.
bad.
Like, I've let
I'm kind
it
of
be.
the same way.
Okay.
I've let it be.
Or your
for,
sword breaks, like if you roll
Yeah.
a 1 and you're trying to hit a like stone golem, your sword shatters or whatever. Like
I actually
you know.
had a DM and I was playing a ranger. I rolled a 1. He had it to where my bowstring snapped and the arrow that I had notched in it came back and ended up impaling me.
That's a bit extreme, but okay.
Ow!
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, so
we'll forego.
quick vote. Everyone, yay or nay? Crits or crit fail? Crit fail yes or crit fail no?
Nay.
Nay, unless
one
it's
nay.
really funny.
Okay.
I don't
That I
care.
can understand.
I hear 3 nays
Have
already,
it.
so I guess we're gonna go. Yeah, I just do
okay,
it
the nays
as
have it.
like I just let it be because I feel the same. Like consequenting those criticals are not very fun. Like hitting somebody on accident doesn't make you feel very good. So yeah, we'll let it be then. All right. Just wanted to ask that because that low digit made me think about it. All right. So Julia, you rake out there with the dagger. The wolf ducks out of the way. Even though its hind leg got wounded, it seems to have enough dexterity to get out of the way of your attack. Do you want to move or anything else? Do you have a bonus action? What do you want to do?
I don't have really a bonus action, so
Turn over?
I'll just end.
All right, Doran.
Right, Doran is going to kind of like weave his way, keeping within distance of the creature, but with the direwolf, but kind of move his way slightly further from, his friend who he's concerned about, and then he just lets out the most discordant scream that actually is a spell.
Ooh, that's a pretty nasty one. Each creature in a 15-foot cube originating from you. So yeah, you're protected. Looks like. Let's see here, double check some digits real quick.
I just kind of eyeballed it. I don't know if that's. I was trying to
Yeah.
catch both. I don't know if that's correct or not. I mean, if it's not, I can move in the other direction.
Well,
Like, if he needs to
would
be over
have-
here to make it
yeah,
work.
It would be centered around you. I'm gonna basically.
So-
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put an aura, and it's 15 foot.
What do you think?
square.
Where do you think he needs to be to make that work?
All right.
Whoa! Oops. that was
15
not-
cube.
Okay, so he goes there. Yeah. So he moves there and then lets out this terrible, discordant, thunderous sound.
All right, that work? You see that?
Totes. That's great.
There you go. That's 15 cube around you. Yeah, that'll hit both of them, and they need to make con saves. All right, let me get those con saves for you, Fred. We have on the first one on top, we get a lag at an 18. Okay, there we go. Get an 18 on that one.
Okay.
Second one is a 16, so they still
Christ,
take half
it's
damage,
fucking
but they don't.
wolves. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
On a fail, they take 2d8 damage and push. On a success, they only take
I have
half
a
as much.
question.
2d8.
So the one on top, it has an arrow in its leg. Would that not act as a lightning arrow?
It's just flavor text.
Well,
my
this
friend.
is thunder. This is sound. It's not lightning. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking lightning.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, that's
And still no.
That's
it's,
very
it's a
I
wooden
will
arrow.
say this. When he does that, what's it called?
Roll me
Thunder
the
wave.
2d8 while we're talking.
When he does that thunder wave, if anybody was paying attention, they would notice Drevos shudder in
Oh,
fear.
that's true. Make a wisdom saving throw,
Oh.
Travis.
interesting.
Make it what?
Make a wisdom saving throw because you just reminded me. Yeah, it shakes your core. You're trying your best to keep your composure, but it's showing. Like you're not deadly
Right.
scared of it, but it's showing that you're visibly shaking. But go ahead and
Right.
roll me those 2d8 so I
I'm
can get
sorry
some
I
damage.
made the loud noise. I didn't know. I
It's fine.
apologize.
No, that's fine.
Nobody knew.
That's-
Only one person on the party would even know, and he's currently in
Oh,
direful form.
Yeah, he doesn't make thunderous.
Murdoch smells fear.
Yeah. So Doran,
Murdoch,
Oh
keep
my
that.
gosh!
Doran, please roll me 2d8, please, for your spell.
Okay, I can do that. Yes.
Yeah, I
thank
need
you.
damage.
Okay, so we're doing 2d8.
And they're taking half of that. But go ahead and roll it. So that's
Well,
5.
you know.
Hey, it's
alright.
still damage, right? And they kind of like
Great
let out a
thing
yell,
about damage, it all adds up.
you know. And yeah, you chip them
Visibly
down.
frustrated that the wolves didn't get pushed away, or so he kind of looks a little downcrest at the end of that. And then
you
he
hear-
looks over at the lady above him and says to her, "You got this. You're gonna be okay." And sings a little song for her and gives her bardic inspiration as well.
All right, there you go. You have bardic
Oh,
inspiration.
wonderful.
You have maybe you'll hit this time.
Pinged my character.
I pinged your character because I thought I was pointing out where
Okay.
you were for him. But at any rate,
Okay,
all right. So
I
Doran,
just saw the ping show up and I was like,
are
what?
you moving? Doran, any movement, or are you staying put? Staying put, I imagine.
That's as much as moving as he wants to do at this point. Yeah.
In
Sorry,
that
I'm just
case,
trying to bring
I'll
up the
turn it
chart.
over to Bran.
I'm gonna hit the same target that I hit last time with my longsword.
All right, that was the southern one, so go for it. Hey, you don't have to post it every time. I know what it does, but definitely helps. Crit, a crit, I say. Roll that
Jesus
damage.
Christ! There we go.
Yes, there we go. So you
Nicely
stab into this
done,
direwolf.
Bran.
Let's see how.
Nice!
Let's see how much damage you put in. Because these are still some hardy boys. So he takes 11 points of damage. It's about average. And you stab into it, and you kind of like hold it in there, and then you slap it out, and the wolf visibly lurks back for a moment, but kind of like crunches over, like it's trembling a little bit from the bleeding, looking a little haggard, but still looks ready to make you suffer for what you just did to it. Anything else for your turn? You staying put? Bonus action or anything?
No, that's all I got, man.
Alright, cool. Thank you. Alright, then in that case, that dire wolf will go ahead and make a bite. We'll start there and then I'll move around. 2 attacks on you. The first one at the bottom. Both of these are at advantage due to pack tactics. Hey, look! We get
Oh
ouch.
my.
We get wow, we trade blows, my friend. You take 22
Good
piercing
for
damage.
crit.
Not really. Like, this direwolf got a little higher on that crit range. Ouch. So you take 22 piercing damage. All of a sudden, we see you get knocked out, and you fall to the ground.
God.
Not only by the force of this direwolf,
shit.
but you fall to the ground, and it's on top of you, and his pal, because I said he was going to attack you too, has advantage, and if he hits, he gets 2 death fails right off the bat. So to play that fair, just so you know, I'd already called that was what's going to happen. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, just making that clear, okay? Don't come at me, chat.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, so we hit, you take 2 failed death saves. And then everybody else
2
around...
of 3, is that correct? He
Yes,
has
that's
3
correct.
all day?
Yeah, you get 3. If you get to the 3rd fail, then you're... and you have to... We'll figure out what happens to you next. Technically, if you do die, you may not necessarily lose this character. I'm still debating on whether to re-roll or do the special way to come back. So, for now, you're on the ground, you're being pounced by 2 direwolves. Everybody turns and notices that you fell down, and there are 2 wolves just going to ham on you. And then the direwolf that is on Murdoch takes a bite. Get a 9, we totally whiff. We have a direwolf attack on the other pretty boy. That's I'll learn names in a minute. Doran.
Me too?
Hey, Doran. No, Doran.
Yeah?
This is Doran. I get a 20.
Are you for real?
No.
Yes, of course that is.
No, I'm not for real. I'm imagination of your dreams. Probably a nightmare at the moment, and I apologize.
Worst nightmare.
But it
It's
takes...
just all a dream.
Okay.
Yes, it will. You will wake up and you will not be in Barovia anymore. We'll see what happens. I need a strength saving throw from you.
Yes.
And
Okay, so he takes 7 points of damage. Is that
yeah,
am
he
I
takes
reading that
7.
correctly?
You are reading that correctly. And then I need a
Woo!
strength saving throw.
So, okay, and well, that seems the least of his concerns right now. But okay.
Just a little bit. Perfect. You're still on your feet. You're not drawn to the ground.
Okay.
And the dire wolf lets go of your arm. Now we got one
Fucking wolf.
for Julia.
Jesus.
Jesus, indeed. What the heavens?
Oh my god.
So it takes a bite out of you for 13, and I need a strength saving throw from you as well.
Game, guys. It was super fun.
This was a great game. Don't worry, it's not over yet. Don't worry, I got you. And Julia falls to the ground prone. So 13 points of damage, leaving you pretty wounded there.
Can I also use a reactionary for that?
Like Hellish Rebuke?
Yep.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, wait, but she's a half elf. How on earth could she do a hellish
I
rebuke?
know, right? How? It must be a spell. She's magic. Wow, magic. Alright, yeah, so go ahead and do your Hellish Rebuke. And I believe it's cast at 2nd level automatically for you. So add another D10
wonderful.
to that. and it needs to make a dex save. You roll
So
your
that would
D10.
be that would be 3d10.
Yep, and it fails. So good luck.
More like good damage.
Well, that's not bad. Not enough, but not bad at all. You
Hey, it's half
So-
of what it could have been.
explain to me and what the party sees as you hellishly rebuke this creature. Like, what do you imagine this flame coming out as?
Well, I take it as I get really pissed. And I'm like, oh my god, not my day. I break out of my character a little bit,
Yeah.
and I literally shoot out a black flame right at the wolf's face as it bites me.
So this aura of black energy that fires up from our Julia just ignites into this wolf, and you hear the wolf let out an audible as it gets burned by whatever this force is. And yeah, you've done some serious damage. It looks very bloodied right now. Is that let's see, that's your reaction. That's the end of the wolf's turn, and I think that is all the wolves. Murdoch.
Thank God.
Okay, what do we got?
Murdoch is going to, yeah, I'm just gonna bite this direwolf. I'm gonna get him out of my face.
I tell you what, before you do that, I want you.
No.
Well, that's fine. You try to bite him, but make an insight check. This wolf is looking at you intently as if it's trying to communicate. You hear wolf speech towards you, and because of your form, you're able to understand him. He says, "These ones are under the control of the devil. You do best to take your friends and leave. I am Alpha."
Okay.
Do you do anything with that information?
Nope.
Okay, that's fair. Alright, so Murdoch, are you staying put then, or are you doing anything else? You try to bite at him and you miss?
Yeah. I'm going to. Sorry, I actually am going to do one thing. I'm going to. Ow. And then I'm going to run here and try to do like and I guess I'll howl in wolf speech and say, actually I'm the alpha and I'm just, get the higher ground.
So
Would that
you're-
not provoke an attack of opportunity?
Oh, I'm taking it.
Yeah, because here I was debating on, like, if he's actually running and not saying anything, he would have took that as, okay, he's leaving. But if you're still being engaging, like, I'm just moving to higher ground, then yeah, he's going to take that opportunity to bite you. But he misses.
That's fine.
So there you go. So he misses you, you misses him, and then you wind up
Okay.
taking up to a little further up north. Anything else?
Yeah,
for your
and once I
turn?
get up there, I'm gonna howl as loud as I can and try to like make all of them look at me or whatever. I feel like I'm slightly higher.
So
sea level,
you're
yeah.
kind of like provoking him? Would
Trying
you
to.
say? Is that your intent? Make an intimidation check as a wolf.
Okay, which is still my thing, which is 0. 15.
Alright, nice. They all turn their heads for a moment, hearing the howl, and they kind of growl in your direction. We'll figure out what they do on their turn. If that finishes your turn, I believe it's Draco's.
Yes.
Alright.
Okay, so my character is going to scooch over 15 feet. And the one fighting the pretty elf lady is going to take another arrow,
Yeah, go for it.
I hope.
We can only hope. So you pull back on the string.
Yeah, I think he takes another one.
Yeah, he
Oh,
takes it.
yay!
9.
You kill him
Piercing.
dead. Your arrow lands
Hey.
true and lands right between the ears and out the other side, and he just falls over dead. Cannot function
Are you
without
using
brain
like that
power.
little headband thing, only without the little band?
Pretty much. Like, yeah, he's got a new.
Nice.
He looks like Cupid got him, but in the wrong spot.
Right. And then after that, I'm going to use the rest of my movement to try to get up here a bit.
Sounds good. All right, so you move in. You finish off the one in front of Julia. Julia, you've been relieved. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm gonna take advantage of it and get back up and move as far as I can, which
Yeah,
that's half my speed, right?
yeah, you get 15 movement if you're 30.
Okay, then let me chart this out so I know how to make it so optimal distance.
Yeah, and in case nobody knows, you can left click your token and then right click and then just kind of like move around and measure. Otherwise, you can go to the measuring stick.
Yeah, that's the farthest I could go optimally.
All
But
right.
with my crossbow, I aim at the wolf closest to the pretty boy.
All
The
right.
alive one, not the knocked out one.
Not the one making death saves. All right. Yeah, go for it. Which Bran will be coming after Doran, so in case there's anybody who needs to heal him, if you have it. 15 hits.
Wonderful. Let's try this out.
Nice. 8 points of damage. You managed to harm a haunch. This one here hasn't taken as much damage, but it's starting to look a lot bloodier than it was. Anything else for
Oh,
your
good.
turn? Alright.
No, I can't do anything else unless like minor illusions a bonus action or something.
Well, like, go to Doran.
Okay, so Doran saw his new friend / nemesis Bran fall under the bites of these wolves.
Yeah.
And he lets out a howl, no! And he actually runs towards him. Attack of opportunity.
Oh no. Why do people keep doing this? This happened Monday. Alright, fair.
Ah, for crying up! Yeah, okay, never mind. So he, as he just turns away from the wolf to try and flee, he's dropped. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. He takes a bite of you, grabs your arm, yanks you to the ground, and then that's the last thing you see. You go unconscious.
Oh, this is going so well.
I know, right?
I know, right?
So, Bran, I hate to ask this, buddy. Can you give me a death save?
Oh,
All right.
Oh no, bye, Bran. I tried,
oh,
man.
no!
I was.
Bran,
I was
You're-
almost there.
Bran, your eyes flicker open for a brief moment, and then there's a moment where you see these two hounds leering over your corpse, and all you can do is say or do just one last thing that is just audible. You can't take an action, but if you want to like say something to somebody, like a last word, what would you say? Or attempt to do, even though you're dying.
I will rear my head back to look at whoever's behind me and say, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised."
Bleh. And life leaves your body. All of a sudden,
Oh
you
man.
find yourself in an ethereal version of the current situation. Your body is still by your feet, and your spirit is like hovering. Nobody could see you unless they have the ability. But you're looking there at your body like, why did we come here? Why did we do this? I mean, you might be having regrets, questions. I mean, you don't know anything about this land, and here you are. You wandered in, and this has happened. For right now, that's your current state. So when your turn comes back around, I'll let you know what happens, alright?
Alright.
I have a question.
I have answers.
The pretty boy that still has death saves to make, that electrified field or whatever that he had up, is that still there?
No, it's just there just in case he does it again. But I don't
Okay.
think he's going to
I
be
just
doing
wanted-
It was just a wave of thunder, like a sound. It wasn't a.
Yeah, this was just to signify where it happened. That's all I was doing, is showing
Okay.
off where it was. So I'll turn that off now.
Okay, because I wanted to know because like I'm
Oh, yeah,
most
it's-
likely
it's-
about to be
it's
moving in
safe.
that area.
Yeah, it's safe to go there. So,
Okay.
curiously enough, the direwolves, after seeing how much devastation they've done, they seem convinced that they've done their job, and they start to retreat.
But Bran
I thought
Uh,
Bran was the blonde one.
Yeah.
was yeah.
He is
He was.
Was
I was gonna
blonde.
say because the
Yeah.
the death symbols on the other guy?
I mean,
Well, he's
not,
just
not having-
unconscious. Like here, if
He's
you want-
unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
he's-
here,
Oh,
I tell you
okay.
what. If you want the
And I can
proper,
get him
We're
up here in a
if you
second.
want the proper emblem for
There,
death,
that
there you
guy's
go.
dead. Yeah,
that
there
guy is
you go. That's a
dead.
dead guy.
Dead. Murdoch, you
I'm
see that,
dying. I am not dead yet, though.
or this long guy died. Yeah, Bran is dead. DED, right?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
100% dead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not imagining. All right, Murdoch,
Yeah.
it is your turn. You
Nope.
see these dire wolves leaving. Do you give them any pursuit or anything of that nature? I mean, you might even think you influenced them to leave, or however you want to perceive it. But they are all turning tail and starting to run out.
Yeah, so I'm going to question, can I do 2 bonus actions instead of an
No.
action?
Tell me what you want to do. Tell me your intent, and I'll see if I'll swing.
I
it.
was gonna drop form and use a bonus action spell.
Okay.
Because dropping form is a bonus action, and the casting the spell I have is a bonus action.
Healing word.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Okay, so I'm gonna run over here, and then do a really cool slide where I become, you know, a dwarf again.
Yeah. So go ahead and bring your token back over, and we'll kind of put the wolf somewhere else for now. So you're over here now.
And I'll say, you're not going to die, and then I will cast healing word. That. So you have 6 hit points, and you're
There you go.
no longer.
6 HP, and you're no longer making death saves. Okay, so I'm just going to ask in general, do any of you pursue the dire wolves?
I'm not. But I am going to
Oh
ask.
yeah, we're
Oh,
going
no.
for them for sure.
I'm just making
We
sure,
got this guy.
because I could say you're out of initiative at this point. I just want to make sure we're dropping initiative. The wolves
Let's go
eventually
get 'em.
trot off. They feel like they've done what they were supposed to, just kind of like take a bite out of you guys and make you fear the wild, so to speak. But
Right.
yeah, you have a fallen comrade who's not responding. Feel free to take
I'll
this
go-
moment, and I'll switch
I'll
us
go
out.
over there to his body, and try. I'll try to do like a commune with nature and like cast the spell Goodberry and try to like feed him a Goodberry and see if it does anything.
So you got 10 berries in your hand.
And I'll give him 1.
It smushes in his teeth. He doesn't seem to be taking it. I'll let you guys kind of like interact with him real quick before I cut back to him.
Well, I definitely am gonna catch up with the group while I start limping over.
Well,
About-
Dravos is coming over to you, so
Oh, okay.
and he asks you if you are hurt.
I am bloody hurt. Oh my god.
Okay, Dravos is going to use the only spell that he knows. Let me get to it here. Spells, which is Cure Wounds.
Yeah, go for it. And as
And
we-
I'm guessing it's level 1, right?
yeah, because you don't have any other spell slots at this point. 7 healing. There you go.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Well, after he heals me a little bit, my tone softens, and I actually look at him and I go like, "Thank you, Mr."
Dravos shyly, like, kind of like looking away, but not trying to seem disrespectful, is like, my name is Dravos. Nice to meet you.
Dravos. I appreciate that. I also appreciate that you were helping me while, you know, a giant
Yeah.
wolf was trying to devour me.
You're welcome.
Meanwhile, Murdoch, you're realizing your patient is not resuscitating with grapes in his face for some reason. This usually works.
Murdoch will put him on his shoulder, turn to Dorian and say, "We need to go back to the caravan. Here are healing berries, they shall help you." And now we'll pass out the 9 berries. It's 1 HP per berry, so whoever wants to have them.
Okay, that should bring
Drevos don't need any. He's fine. He didn't take any damage.
Fucking stealther.
So that takes him up almost to full. So Doran gobbles down the berries. The juice runs down his chin as he's like weeping slightly, at the loss of his friendliness.
Your
Bran.
rival. Your friendly rival.
As
Yeah.
I am carrying Bran, I will say, Drevos, will you grab me one of those wolf things? As we head
Drevos
back
just-
to the caravan.
By the way,
Drevos just walks over,
by the way,
grabs like the tail, and just starts dragging it.
so the two of you still have draft horses that were kind of like left behind. If you wanted to whistle for them, they'd probably come to your side. Yeah, just like that. And the
Murdoch will attempt.
Yeah, go for it.
I will not really whistle.
Shh, shh. There, I did for you. But here you go. Your two draft horses come up, and you can throw the corpses on the back if you want, or whatever. And once we resolve this scene, I think it's time for a break.
Yes.
I agree. I will
Alright.
load Bran
I
onto the
definitely agree.
Absolutely. Okay, so go ahead and you load them up, and you get everything situated. And you guys are going to start walking back to the caravan. And at this point, my friends, we're going to go ahead and take about a 5-minute break. We're going to use the facilities, going to get us a drink of water. We're probably going to discuss a few things out of character, and then we're going to come right back. Stay tuned. If you haven't followed us yet, come on, hit that follow button. What are you waiting on? And if you want to subscribe and support the stream, by all means, hit that sub button. Appreciate everything that happens, and hope you're enjoying the story tonight. And we will be right back after these Pretzel Rock songs.
think she said, uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, what Dravo said.
Okay, I'm hearing things again. Hello, welcome back, everybody. We're back from our break. We have a little situation going on here where the horses are carrying two corpses. One of them is a direwolf, and the other is a person, I believe. And basically, here's the problem. Bran, you find yourself in an ethereal-like vicinity at the moment. And let me just get over here. And then you just kind of like start to hear a distant voice, and it says,
Have you passed? Are you alone?
A little hard to understand what
Yeah,
you're saying.
I can't make out what he's saying.
Neither
That
can
was
I.
cool though, like very cool.
let me...
Oh yeah.
Alright, let me
Whatever
try to be
it
clear then.
is.
Are you alone?
Ooh, that's perfect.
Yeah. I believe so.
Have you fallen to your fate already?
Yes.
I strike a deal with you if you can promise me one thing.
And what might that be?
These lands, they are cursed. They are cursed by a devil, I tell you. Free this land from its curse. If I can get that promise from you, I'll allow you to cheat death this one time.
Well, I suppose it depends on the curse.
Oh, you will see soon enough. For you cannot leave here, not even in death. Would you...
Sorry, I couldn't make out the first part.
He said, you cannot leave here, not even in death.
I heard that, but what was before that?
You will find out soon enough.
Alright, I'll turn that off for a moment. But yeah, he's pretty much
I
telling
heard
you...
you will find out soon enough. Is
We'll
that
find
correct?
out soon enough for even
Free the
here.
land of a curse, or
Yeah. So he's basically asking you to free this land of the curse. And what you can't see anything visible, but the mist, the blue array of the ethereal is like shaking as it talks. And he just basically says, would you like another chance at life? Because in death, you can still not leave.
Sure.
Alright. As that happens, all of a sudden, on top of that horse, you revive with 1 HP. And what I sent you in a whisper, that is a flaw from dying.
Got it.
Who has brought back the sexy?
Okay, so
miracle. I
have
thought he
something-
was dead. He seemed extremely dead.
By the way, you make it back to the road where you expect the caravan to be, and just like they told you, they left.
Yes.
How dare
Right.
them gypsies?
But I did want to say
Well,
something
they were
before we leave this particular spot right quick.
Uh-huh.
Because Dravos's friend Murdoch requested the wolf, the dead one. And Dravos just takes it and puts it on Murdoch's horse and then offers his horse to the lady.
Murdoch will just take the dire wolf and remove a fang.
Okay. Yeah, make a survival.
And then
Maybe-
leave it in the road.
Yeah, make a survival check to do that. Permanently, Bran.
Can I assist him to give him advantage on that?
No, you may not. This is something
Okay.
he's doing. No, well, yeah, it's something he's doing. Are you trained in survival?
Let me take a look
you
here.
are, I will-
Actually, I am proficient in it.
Alright, then yeah, I'll let you take the 20. Yeah, you get a nice... You just want one fang. You can have it. Like, if you rolled that 12, then you probably would have had a chipped fang. But yeah, you get one that's fully intact. The longest one he has.
Murdoch will take the thing.
Okay. You can put down a long wolf fang. In your inventory.
Well, I was just gonna respond to Dravos offering the horse because I wanted to notice that when he offers the horse, I actually am like legit surprised and actually extremely happy on that. I don't say words, but I look at him with like a bit of glee but nervousness. And I eventually just say, "Thank you, Mr. Dravos. I'm not going to lie, but I do not have the best endurance for long walks. So much appreciated for it. You helped me yet
Yes.
again."
No, Mr. Dravos is fine. As he speaks very sheepishly.
Then
Because he doesn't really know you, but you're a lady and he was raised with respect, so he's being nice.
well, I feel rude that you don't know my name. The name's Julia.
That was about to be the next question.
Alright, so, I mean, you guys are walking and talking. You finally get back to the road, and yeah, once again, you realize that the gypsies moved on. The Fistani, if you will. But, not too far past where you guys are, and you just kind of like travel on. Let me read you the next bit of line from Strahd. Let's see here.
While we are walking and talking, Murdoch would like to share with the party. The big wolf who, quote-unquote, fake alpha, mentioned that they are controlled by the devil, and this land is cursed. Just figured I would share.
Yeah, that's fair.
Did he
So
say...
that seems to be a
sorry.
recurring theme. The curse of the devil in these parts.
Indeed, Dravos, do you still have the letter from the dead corpse that was murdered?
I do.
What does it say?
And Dravos reads it out to them.
Let me find that letter real quick. Let's see, where did it go? Ah, here it is. Okay. Down at the bottom, you can read the actual writing.
All right.
And
It
if you
says, "Hail thee, might and valor. I, the burgomaster of Barovia, send you honor with despair. My adopted daughter, the fair Irene Kalana,
Eliana.
has been these past nights bitten by a vampire. For over 400 years, this creature has drained the lifeblood of my people. Now my dear Irina languishes and dies from an unholy wound caused by this vile beast. He has become too powerful to conquer. So I say to you, give up for dead and encircle this land with the symbols of good. Let holy men call upon their power that the devil may be contained within the walls of weeping Barovia. Leave our sorrows to our graves and save the world from this evil fate of ours. There is much wealth entrapped in this community. Return for your reward after we are all departed for a better life. Kalon Indorovich, the burgomaster."
It sounds very similar to the letter that we had.
Yes,
sounds
but
like
this
someone-
one actually
You guys had a
straight
letter?
up
What do you-
says, "This is the letter
Yeah.
that I found on the corpse."
Yes.
This letter here, though, specifically points out that it's a vampire.
Yes.
No name, though?
It
Yes.
does not say the name of the vampire. It just says that his daughter Irene was bitten by a vampire, and he gave his name, the burgomaster's name, and those were the only names that was mentioned.
It sounds like the burgomaster is leading people into their death, similar to Brand here, who no longer is dead. I guess that
No,
guy did.
It was a message saying to leave this town to its own fate and to encircle it in holy symbols so that the evil couldn't escape.
Dravos.
That is much smarter.
Dravos, make me either a perception or an insight check. I'll let you pick.
Perception or insight? Proficient in both. I'll go with Insight. 19.
You notice that the handwriting from both letters are different.
Mm-hmm. And also, I informed the party that the handwriting is different.
Oh.
So you were saying that we were screwed.
There's one is the real Burgermaster and one is someone else trying to
Mimic
pull
the
some shit.
master or forge his signature.
Does
Would you
the
like me to take a look at that signature?
I feel like we need to speak with this Burgermaster and find out what's really going on.
Murdoch would like to look at the seal? Is the seal the same as the one we saw before?
I don't think this one has a seal on it like the other one.
Son of a biscuit.
But the one that had the seal on the other one, let me check real quick. Fishing for the info for you guys. Give me one hot moment here. Let's see here. What was it?
Take your time.
Yeah, that's the only thing about running a module is that there are so much information that's laid around, and then you're like, okay, where did I find that again? So that's like what I'm going through right now.
Yeah. You want to quickly read 300 pages and see what makes the most sense?
Not really. I mean, I'll take a stab at some of this, but all right, here we go. Let's see. Okay, you wanted to know what the seal looked like, right?
It is correct.
There you go.
It is the same seal.
Yeah, well, that's the seal on the first letter.
Okay,
There was
Second-
no seal on
There
the
was
second.
there was no seal on the second.
gotcha.
Interesting.
I agree with Doran. We should speak to this Burgermaster.
Just, can I do a history check on the? Can I see if I know anything about the seal that I'm seeing? The one that actually has a seal.
You would have no knowledge regardless because these lands are.
Okay, I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, you've never seen this seal before, yeah. But yeah, you guys are continuing traveling while you're talking, right?
It is
Yes.
correct.
All right, so let me see
Yep.
here. I'm gonna go and look at our map page just to kind of like see where you are and then read off anything that is important. So give me just a hot moment. By the
Ron,
way-
how are you feeling?
Very ill. But I feel like I need to wash my hands. And I cast Prestidigitation on my hands.
Okay.
It look-
Are you at 1 hit point? Is that where you're at? Sorry, are you feeling extremely unwell, my friend?
Yes.
Doran is asking Brand. Okay. Doran will do a little cure wounds on his.
All right, yeah.
That went weird.
So 5 healing to you from Doran.
There you go.
All right, what should I be reading here before you go into it, though?
I'm also
Well,
going
at least I know which
expend
elf is
all
more
my...
competent.
I'm also going to expend all my lay on hands points.
All right, yeah, feel free. Feel like there's something I'm forgetting to read here, but eventually you do find yourselves coming to the outskirts of a village. You can still see
Look
the
at
fresh...
the village.
Yeah, look at that village. But you can still see the fresh tracks of the recent Bastani that you were currently with. The sparse light of the building spill out from behind a drawn heavy curtain. A sign over a door creaking on its hinges. Wait, that's not where we're at. I thought this was telling me outside of town. Alright, sorry. That was my mistake. Where is my notes for what it looks like on the outside of town? Either way, you guys find yourself in the city of Barovia, and I will move you to the corresponding map. If you want to move your token over, you will start... Let's start on this side of the map here. So go ahead and pull your tokens, and technically each square is 40 feet, so yeah, don't be alarmed if... Make sure you're grabbing the word and not the other piece, because everybody should be able to pull the token over and not... Alright, I'm going to zoom in on you guys.
Alright, how do I do this?
Grab your name from the journal and literally drag it to the page.
From the journal. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. That's me. There I am.
There you are. And then who are we waiting on? The dwarf?
I see 4 on it.
Here,
I
Murdoch.
thought I saw Drabos covered the tiny dwarf. Oh, there he is.
Oh, yeah, he did. Never mind. Hold on. Let me delete that extra one. Oh, wait.
Now, we got no Dravoses.
You know what? Hold on. Here.
No, that was the tiny dwarf, not the Dravos.
The dwarf, yeah, Murdoch, I put him on there, then he deleted the extra one, I deleted the extra one. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, we were both playing there, guy. It's okay. So you're on this side of
The
town.
dwarf flickers.
And pretty much beat and battered. But you're coming in, let me see here, on this side of town, and as you look around, all these buildings, like every other one, seems like it's broken down, disrepair, destitute. Let's see here. What does it exactly say about Barovia here?
This is definitely human architecture. Dwarven architecture would stand up much better than these.
Love it. But yeah, you're inside the village now. What'd you like to do?
Murdoch could use a stiff drink. I believe Bran is in the same boat.
So is Dravos.
And apparently Dravos.
I'm just gonna follow the guys because I am also hurt, and I just kind of like, yeah, whatever, I don't care.
Julia, was it? Do you not like alcohol?
It's not that I don't like alcohol. It's, well, I just, whatever. I'll have alcohol now. I mean, I earned it.
You've earned it. That's fair. All right, yeah. So you guys want to look around in town? You can move a little bit there. Let me just look something else up.
Yes, we will wander looking for a pub. Or tavern,
Yes.
as you humans call it.
Oh, okay, so that's where F is. I was just want to make sure that what I was reading wasn't further off, and which it was. All right, cool. All right, now that that's a double check, let me come back into the village of Barovia with these fine fellows. So, yeah, you're traveling up down the streets here, and I think I can go into Barovia proper.
Should I roll a perception to see if I an insight or the two to see if I can find this pub?
Actually, I will get into that in just a moment. Let me... Oh, hey, now I
Okay.
found approaching the village. Alright, so tall shapes loom out in the dense fog that surrounds everything. The muddy ground underfoot gives way to slick, wet cobblestone. The tall shapes become recognizable as village dwellings. The windows on each of the houses stare out from pools of blackness. No sound cuts the silence, except for a mournful sobbing that echoes through the streets from some distance away.
Mournful sobbing what? You cut out for a second.
Sobbing echoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no sound cuts the silence except for a mournful sobbing that echoes through the streets from a distance. Sorry about that.
Okay.
And that is coming like further in this direction, so to speak. But you continue traveling west. And
Yes.
yeah, go ahead and like what's even funnier is you see those carriages up ahead and they're all outside here.
We'll just catch up with them.
Yeah, so you can do that. And let me see here. E tool. Bingo. Areas Barovia. No, I know.
Dravos is looking at this building right here, seeing if
Areas
this
of
is
the
the pub.
village. Alright, so give me one quick second here.
Yep.
Okay, this building to
Oh,
the
these
south, is
louds
that what you're
again.
looking? I'm sorry?
Yeah, the one that I'm standing right at, just on the side of there.
Alright, so
Right here.
yeah, okay, so this one that has a sign over the door creaking on its hinges, and it reads Bill Drafts Mercantile. Looks like a general shop, so to speak. However, Julia, you notice north of you a little ways there is a building with a sign that has a single shaft of light thrusts illumination into the main square, its brightness looking like a solid pillar in the heavy fog. Above the gaping doorway, a sign hangs precariously askew, proclaiming this to be the Blood on the Vine Tavern.
Hey.
I call out to the groups as like found the inn.
Let us go get some ale.
Wine for me, but yes, let's go get us a drink.
Okay. The sign kind of like creaks precariously, and then you all just kind of like walk in.
The name would
Yes.
be much better if it was Blood and the Wine Tavern, if there is a devil here. Or a vampire.
I need you to make a perception check as you're kind of like taking a look at the sign.
Okay. Murdoch can do that.
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, Murdoch look like shit.
Yeah, but you know, these rolls are pretty easy to get at in the early stages, and this is nothing like super major. But you realize the N has been scratched over with the F, with an F. So I don't know what significance a fife is, but yeah, you notice the N got scratched out, and there's an F there instead. But other than that, you walk in, and I probably should not have closed that because I need to read what the next part is. Come on now, Star, you can do this.
It
No.
happens.
It's not like you do this once or twice or 3 times a week.
No, not this exactly. Yeah, I mean, not like, Okay.
I was being ornery.
I know. So yeah, this tavern that you walk into, the building's about 60 feet square. Close inspection of the sign revealed that it originally read "The Blood on the Vine." An N has been scratched over with the letter F. This finely appointed tavern has grown shoddy over the years. There's a blazing fire at the hearth, gives off a scant of warmth, and there are a few huddled souls within. You look around and you see the old man for a brief moment, and he seems to be handing off, or he seems to be receiving some coins from one of these 3 ladies that are like looming in this region, and they're carrying like red bandanas with the little bangles around the edge of their headpiece, so you can definitely tell they're Vistani as well. And he turns and he kind of like notices you and says, "Ah, I see you made it, and no worse for wear."
Dravos isn't speaking. There's a whole lot of people here he don't know.
Right.
I always said, like, worse for wear, you don't know the half of it.
I have a major question for you. What is a vice?
Now I need to know. Hold on, let me check. Like, I don't know why it says that, and like, this might be an old joke that I don't understand, or this might be. Let's see what it says. Definition of fife. I dialect spelling of wife. Huh? Okay.
It's because it is supposed to be wife per Reddit.
Blood of the fife. Okay, so it's like blood of the wife. Maybe is that what they were
Yeah.
trying to hit at? That might be it.
Yeah.
All right, so that might be the. So text is available under the Creative Commons Attribution Share, like whatever. I dialect spelling of wife. All right, so that's just text. So I guess it's just like babble to be like wife. So this blood of the wife. Interesting.
Who
We
is
all
this
learn.
wife?
Shrugs. Maybe it's one of these 3 fine ladies. I know they're looking, right? And they all give him a stern glare. Get out of here, you old man. You got your money. Now leave. Kind of hisses and cackles and walks back out. And he's like, "Oh, by the way," and he leans towards you guys and not talking to any of you in particular, but in your general direction. "If you continue traveling west a little ways, and you follow the road northward where it splits, you'll meet up with Madame Ava and her camp. We're going to head there now, but if you guys want to follow after, you're free to either come along or come at your own pace. Madame Ava would be very interested in meeting all of you."
I will. Murdoch will whisper over to Doran and say, "Is this Madame over a brothel?" Murdoch does like brothels.
We heard that we were supposed to meet with this Madame Ava with regards to saving this land from its prince who had fallen into darkness. And then he shudders and says, "But I can't speak more."
Murdoch does not have that same experience with madams.
I love it. Yeah, and the old man leaves, so unless you want to go out there and stop him or join their ride, I mean, you're welcome to stay here and recuperate a little bit if you want.
I kind of think we should. We do get a couple of people that were quite injured.
I would just like an ale, as well as we need to figure out who the burgermaster is.
I would love to sweet talk whoever owns the establishment.
Alright, so yeah, let's do some proper role playing here. For one, there's a odd character who's been like watching you guys. He's got like blonde hair, squared off face. He's just watching from a table, drinking some wine, just kind of like gauging
Is he
you.
prettier than Bran?
Hold on. You can compare, my friend. That's what he looks like.
That's a no.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
it's not a
I
bad
think
shape
Bran's
he's
got this
got.
one.
yeah, I mean, he's rugged, but he's definitely, yeah. I mean, if you want me to look
I
at
don't
his,
know, Brand. He's a
he's
pretty
average.
handsome fella there.
It's all right.
But
I mean, he's not me or anything. So
a pudgy little man tends the bar. He's mindlessly cleaning a glass one after another, and when they're all clean, you see him go back and start cleaning all over again. And you mentioned ale, right?
Yes. Murdoch would like an ale, please, barkeep, as I will tap on the bar.
So he goes in a dull, hollow voice. He says, "Small glass of wine costs 1 copper. A pitcher of wine costs 1 silver. We only serve wine here."
Is there a
Dravos
reason?
just taps Murdoch on the shoulder and then gives him that look, like, you know what I drink.
Murdoch will take a big glass of wine.
You want a pitcher then?
Yes.
Yes.
How many?
Several.
Name several. How many?
5.
I can only count to 4.
Basically, Dravos is just looking for some elderberry.
Yeah, so he
We will
not,
take
he can
4
do-
plus 1.
I can do that. So he pulls out 4 giant pitchers of wine, and he asks for 5 silver piece for all 4 plus the 1.
I will pay for this one.
Oh, thank you, Mr.
I will give him a gold piece and ask for change.
Yeah, and he easily enough, he passes you 5 silver back, and he goes back to cleaning his glasses.
Murdoch will take the ale, or sorry, the wine, as you people call it, and drink it.
Yeah, as you purse it to your lips, this tastes like a very fruity ale, if you would. It's kind of grape flavor.
Dravos, we need to find some brewer supplies, and I will make my own party. It will be way better.
Dravos nods at him, like, yeah, okay, and then just goes up to the keep, because obviously Murdoch just started chugging the bottle. Goes up to the barkeep and is like, says that he wants 2 more jugs and just hands him a piece.
Oh, okay. You need 2 more jugs and
It's-
him a gold?
Yeah, that way there's no change.
Oh, well, he already starts counting you 8 silver, and he's like, here, you want this back? Or did you want... You wanted,
I wanted
2 more.
2 jugs. 2
Yeah.
jugs.
That's 2 silver.
Wait, what was the one that was 5?
No, it's 5 copper. Or what? Okay, no. It's one, okay, so it's 1 copper if you want a small glass, but if you want a pitcher, it's 1 silver. And he bought 5 pitchers for all of you, so you guys are covered. Trust me, this pitcher is not like a cup. This is a big old, tea-sized pitcher. We're talking about at least a half a gallon.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you got.
I thought he just downed the whole thing all at once.
Blub, blub. Oh well, if you do, I need a con save, but that comes later. Let me paint a bigger picture here while you guys are you guys finding a table or whatnot, and maybe trying to rest?
Dravos finds a table in the corner.
Is the man still looking at us?
And then just puts his back to the corner.
The bartender is just focusing on the glasses, cleaning them.
I mean the blonde gentleman. Is he still looking at us?
Oh, yeah. He's still looking towards you and different... he's casually looking, and then he goes back to his drink, and he's, in the middle of a thought, it looks like.
Murdoch will go sit with him.
Alright, before you go sit with him, I just want to paint the picture of this room, too. So, not only is he the one in here, but there are 3 ladies, as I mentioned before, that have, the gypsy wear that are Fistani. And they all kind of seem to be lingering in different places for a moment, and then they kind of come together at the same table and just kind of watch things like they're like a hawk. But you go and approach this man, and let me see here, what was his? I had his voice a while back, but I don't know if I'll remember it. Yeah, whatever. All right, so he goes, "Good evening. Can I help you?"
You're the one looking at me, sir. Do you have a problem with dwarves?
No, no, not dwarves, my friend. Only the devil himself. You are
What is it
welcome.
with this devil?
Well,
Oh,
you,
just got
sir.
really Hispanic there.
Yeah.
Apologize.
Wow, that's racist. But no, he goes, no, you all are a breath of fresh air. Please, would you mind collecting your friends and having a talk and drink with me?
Pretty boys, assemble.
And
Doran perks up and is like, "Okay, I'm coming."
Travis is just still sitting at his table in the corner as he's pouring himself some wine in a cup. He's not drinking straight from the bottle. He's like being neat about it and pouring it into a cup and just sipping on it.
Mhm.
And plus, you said pretty boys assemble,
Yeah.
not guy,
Yeah.
not everybody assemble.
And then Ismar or this gentleman kind of goes, was the dragon guy friend with you and the missus that came in, or no?
I apologize. That is Murdoch's fault. Shawnee boys, assemble.
Travis stands up and keeping close to the wall with his drink in hand, just like comes over by them and like leans against the wall.
All right.
And lady.
And lady. Yeah, there you
Now,
go.
Oh,
mind you-
now you noticed me.
Right,
Now,
it
mind
took a
you,
while.
Now, mind you, Dravos is like still kind of weary of this guy, so it's just kind of like keeping a hand on the pommel of his dagger just in case, because he doesn't know this guy.
As of course, as Julia kind of like comes closer, he takes notice and says, "Milady," kind of like stands up for a moment, gives you a polite bow. "Well, if you all would be so kind, let's have a drink and converse in private here, if you don't mind." And you all take
Can
a
I
seat.
do an insight check?
Yeah, what do you want to know?
I just want to read his face to see if he's just trustworthy.
Yeah, go for it. Make a insight.
Actually, I think Dravos would do the same.
And then by all means, yeah, go for it.
Murdoch will allow the conversation.
Yeah. So for you, Julia, you just haven't heard enough from him to actually gauge him correctly, but he's being very polite. And Dravos, yeah, it's still kind of the same, but right now you don't hint at any
Ill intent.
Ill intent. Yeah, you don't feel any ill intent from him. But however, there hasn't been enough conversation, I don't think, for you to fully gauge him because he's about to go into a spiel, right? So
Right.
he goes,
I wanted to get my first impressions on.
yeah, so far he's not
Yeah.
showing off as anything evil or anything. As a matter of fact, he goes, good, friends. And he goes into a hush whisper and makes sure you can all hear him. And he kind of like points around at the ladies that are around. "We must be very careful. The devil has ears in many places. However, let me introduce myself. I am Ismar Kalyavinich. Yeah. I can say your name, dude. Don't you give me no lip. Kalyanovich. Kalyanovich. I can say it. I'm getting there. All right.
Kalyanovich.
Yeah, Kalyanovich. And he tells you, most of the villagers call me Ismark the Lesser. I think those times might be coming to an end. Basically, I have a proposition for some fresh faces, some people who I think could help me in my time of need. My sister, Irina, she needs to be taken from this village, taken away, and if you would be so kind, we can put you up for a night, and then we can leave. I mean, I don't know if you're interested, but we could leave the next day if it was possible, and then we could,
Dravos
take
just
her
pipes up
to-
with a quiet little depends on the weather. Maybe.
Well, we need to take her to Falaki. It's a settlement in the heart of the valley, beyond the view of Castle Ravenloft. I mean, have you not seen it? And maybe you slightly saw it, but there was so much mist, it was kind of like hard to make out. But there was like a tall castle in the background of the city, up looming in the north, but you could barely make it out because of the mist. Ismark kind of like looks around cautiously, making sure.
As this guy's talking, Doran has been drinking quite a bit, and wondering what was the girl's name.
You say that to him. He goes, Irina Kalyana. Have you heard of her?
Dravos pipes up. I have.
Oh,
Was she bit by a vampire?
He hushes you. He's like, shh. How did you
You're
come by
joking.
this information?
Dravos is just like, well, that's what it says here in this letter, was that she was bitten by a vampire.
Letter? Can I see?
Actually, yes. Murdoch hands him his letter and says, "Why is the handwriting different?"
No.
Oh, wait. Okay,
Hold
so
on.
wait.
Dravos still has the letter, though. You
Yeah.
can't hand him the letter if I have
I hand
it.
him my letter then, because I have the one originally.
All right, Dravos.
You have the original one, yes.
What are you doing with the?
Dravos is like a little leery, but it's like, I suppose, and hands it to.
So he has both versions, right?
Yes.
He goes, this is nonsense. I don't know who sent you this letter. And he's talking about the first one you got. But this is my father's handwriting. This right here points to the letter you picked up off the dead body. This, and he like flips the envelope over. Like you showed him the envelope too, right?
Yes.
He goes, no, this can't be. Strahd. Devil.
Who is Strahd?
He's the one that came to her. He's the one that did this to her. We must get her away from here. You understand me, right?
Wait, you're telling us Strahd is this vampire?
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Keep your voice down.
Murdoch heard him as a devil. Is he a devil or a vampire? There is a difference.
In these
I
lands,
assume he means
Dravos is obviously confused by that as well.
yeah, and he tells you in these lands, he is both. Sorry, I need
That
to
is
cut
not
you off.
possible. Is he like a half vampire, half devil?
He starts to
Murdoch does
hold
not
his
understand.
hand to his forehead. It's like maybe I made a mistake.
Please do continue. I'm just dealing with a bunch of notes. He'll tell it to me.
Yes, ma'am, I appreciate your concerns in this. At least you seem upright. But, no, I can't tell you too much in the presence of current company. But to see you come here today is definitely a blessing. Will you follow me back to my manor?
At your manor is where the burgomaster is?
He, kind of like sighs and he goes, was.
Says what?
Was.
Does the burgomaster no longer exist?
If you come with me, I will explain more in detail. Matter of fact, if you like, I can pay for a pitcher of ale or wine on the way out. If you have wineskins, how do you feel it?
Murdoch has
Warren
two
looks at him and
hands.
says, absolutely.
I would
Yes.
appreciate that.
Same.
However, Murdoch has two hands, so two pitchers, please.
Absolutely. So yeah, chat. Look, I found out what motivates players. Wine. All right, great. Anyway, he's like, very well. Let me remember what that guy's name was. So Ismark goes to the counter and he says, Eric, I need a pitcher for all of them, and it's on me. He's like,
Two pitchers for Murdoch.
And don't worry, I'll bring the pitchers back later on tonight, okay? You better. And he pours out as many pitchers as you all need, and of course, Ismark pays for it. Since it's on me, friends, come and let us be on our way. And he shoots a
Just
stare.
before we head out, Dravos like finishes off the picture that he was working on and takes it up to the counter and just sets it down on the counter
As you
and
do
proceeds
that,
out.
yeah, Eric like drains it, rinses it out, and just starts cleaning.
I don't know if
Murdoch
it
is
helps
carrying-
any. Does this
Murdoch-
time in the
Shh.
tavern constitute a short rest by any stretch? Or?
That's a good question, but let Murdoch talk because I heard him first. Go ahead, Murdoch.
Murdoch is just carrying 2.5 pitchers.
There you go. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody got heard, because once we start interrupting each other, it might be unfair, but whenever I hear whoever came in first, I'll try to get them first, and then just come down the line. I'm trying to be fair, but whoever I heard first, even if there's like a delay, I'm sorry about the delay, but if you're further away from me, I can't help that. But I will definitely just try to clear the air, make sure everybody gets their turn. So that's something that I try to do. So if I say quiet online, just kind of like give me a little room, and then I'll point to who needs to finish what they were saying, so we can clear up the air. Nothing too strenuous there. However, we'll get back in character now. The three women that are in this room just staring at the group, and Ismark kind of like stares daggers back at him and just walks you all outside, and you all follow, right?
I assume so.
All right.
Ismark, do you not like the brothel ladies? Is that your problem?
They are not brothel ladies, as you are outside of earshot. No, they are Fistani, and they are the eyes and ears of the devil himself.
They have a matron or madame. They are brothel ladies, yes.
Who have you been talking to, friend?
The old man.
No, she is a madame, not a madame. I mean, I don't... Whatever. Anyway, Ismark...
Murdoch does not understand human language.
Yeah, and Ismark's
Dragos
like
just
done with
turns
this...
and looks at him and is like, basically, she puts it in your butt.
Wait.
Murdoch does not go for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Exactly.
either. I wouldn't either.
Depends on
Ismark,
the day.
is this your token?
And the wine.
I think this is his token. Yeah, there it is. I found his token. So the three ladies watch as you walk out. Ismark leads you down the street, and as you get down the street, from about right here, you start hearing that moaning noise again. And Ismark kind of like puts a finger to his head, like, "Oh, I wish you would hush," and continues on unless you guys want to do something.
What is that noise, Ismark? The
That's-
lesser. Indeed.
Yeah, he stares at you for a moment, and he's like, shouldn't have just shut up, shouldn't I? That is Mad Mary. And basically what you're seeing, a moaning sob floats through the steel gray streets, coloring your thoughts with sadness. This sound flows from a dark two-story townhouse, which is just to the right here.
Dragos is going to talk to her.
You want to meet Mad Mary?
Yes.
No, I will not stop you. I'll wait here.
Murdoch would like to know what her problem is.
Yeah, that's fair. Many would. By all means,
I would love to follow the very handsome Ismark,
my dear.
as I say in a
Not that
flirty
you-
tone.
Yep. Alright, so you hang out with Ismark, and three of you at least are going to the door, or what?
Murdoch will stay in the
Uh,
street.
Alright. So the pretty boys are going
Doran
to
is
the door.
interested. He feels compelled by the wheeling. So,
Huh.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, this house is about 40 square feet from the looks of it, boarded up and barricaded. You walk up to the door. What do you want to do?
I knock on it and I say, "Ma'am, are you okay?"
It doesn't sound like it's directly in the room by the door. But
You cut in and out there. What was that?
I said it doesn't sound like it's coming from that room directly. Like the voice seems elevated, but it is definitely loud because everybody can hear her from a mile away. It seems.
Oh. Dragos, like, raises his voice. "Miss Mary, are you okay?"
No response. More crying. It seems like she can't hear you from wherever she is.
Dragos just like pounds on the door really hard.
The door shakes but does not budge because it seems to be barricaded. Like you can see folds of it coming in.
realized that,
but they're-
but,
Yeah, I'm just letting you know that the door seems barricaded as you kind of like I know you're not busting it down, but you know how the door kind of gives sometimes, especially in a cheap
Yeah.
house. Like the wood
I was
gives.
thinking more like a police officer, not.
Yeah, and it's still loud and thuddy. I'm just letting you know extra information as you do it. But yeah, you could definitely
Oh,
tell
okay.
it's barricaded up. But yeah, what do you do? Like she's not coming down for anybody, it seems.
I'm going to try to like see if there's another entrance, like a window or side door.
Make an investigation.
Yep.
What about the others? What do you guys want to do while he's like looking around the house?
14.
All right, give me a minute. Is there anybody else at the door as well? I want to let you have a chance to.
So is the front door locked? Is that what we determined?
Well, nobody actually tried it, but it seemed to be pretty
Yeah, so
Wait,
Doran
what
just
do you
kind of
say?
stumbles
B&E,
up. He's
no
like,
big deal.
I don't know, and he just kind of like tries to open the door.
Yeah, so actually, now I can tell you, the door is locked.
Okay. He's like, hey guys, the door's locked, just in case you're wondering. Yes, it totally is.
Absolutely, yeah. And Ismark calls from down below, so are you done bothering the old lady, or are you going to go check on her?
I'm still gonna go check on her.
Alright,
Not gonna tell her.
so we see Dravos walking around looking for a way in. Side of this place doesn't seem to have anything you can reach. Like, the closest window is like her step comes up, and then basically there's like a basement, and then it leads up to the house. So there's probably a window that's like 5 or 6 feet up in the air before it's like reachable. Well, I guess
Dravos
it'd be
is over
8.
7 feet tall.
Yeah, I guess if you really want to try. So you want to pull yourself on a windowsill and look?
Yes.
Alright, so you pull yourself up, make an athletics.
Strength. Okay.
Yeah.
Athletics.
Just see if you have that upper arm strength.
Oof.
And then as you pull
Oh wow!
So, I mean, you say you're tall anyway, right? So you're
Yeah, I'm
able
7
to
foot
see.
plus.
So you're able to see that there are boards across the window that have been nailed shut. Like, there's no light getting into this house. And then all of a sudden you slip off the sill. Like, your hands are kind of like bigger than the sill, and you weren't able to get a
Yeah.
good balance, and you just kind of slid back and fall on your butt. But, you know, you didn't
Murdoch
fall.
laughs out loud.
Doran is going to try and play a little song just to see if he can draw this person out. So he's going to take out his lute and play, like a nice little ballad, something not too offensive, something that hopefully will compel this person to come out and talk to us.
Make me either a performance or a persuasion. I'll let you pick. All right. And once again, my music decided to quit working. I hate that. All right. Get that rolling again. Now,
Also, can we have the bard like make up some lyrics just to make it more fun?
if he's comfortable doing it, I'm not going to put him on the spot like that, though.
Oh, really? Come on.
I mean, if you want
Seriously.
to, by all
Oh,
means.
lady in the house, so why don't you come out? We would love to see you. We want to talk to you. Why don't you come and see us? There.
Ding.
You get a Grammy.
Oh my goodness. Gold star for you, friend. Matter of
That
fact,
was remarkable.
you still-
Amazing.
I feel like I need to reward that somehow. However, this... Okay, yeah, okay. So you hear the sobbing, and it comes down some stairs. You hear it getting closer to the door, and then all of a sudden you hear a weak prying of wood, and then more sobbing as the figure seems to have landed on the floor and just starts bawling where she stands, unable to pull the wood. She's just so distraught. She has no strength whatsoever from what it seems. But you brought her down, so she's like on the other side of that door.
Dravos comes back around.
Rubbing
What kind
his
of
butt.
door is it? Is it just like a wooden door?
Yeah,
or-
it's a wooden door. However, it's been barricaded by a bunch of 2x4s on the inside.
I wouldn't suggest busting it though, because if she's just on the other side, it might land on her. Yeah.
I mean, you can,
Murdoch could get into the house and then take the boards off if you would like.
Why? She's downstairs.
How? How do you get in the
Murdoch-
house?
Murdoch is very sneaky.
Is there a window that's not covered in boards?
no. Every window has
Oh,
boards
okay.
on it. Yeah, this house has been boarded up.
Murdoch will turn into a bat
Okay.
and then fly inside.
Oh, no!
Oh, okay.
Let me guess, through the chimney?
I assume there are gaps in the windows.
No, they're all boarded up. Everything's
Murdoch
boarded
will
up.
go through the chimney.
Yeah, I'm checking real quick. Let me see if there is one that is not lit. Let me make sure it's not lit.
Oh, that
Fly
would
through
be
it really
terrible.
Okay,
Wait,
okay.
wait,
You know what?
okay with it.
We need to roll for that. So, who wants to roll for it?
I was
You
going to
wanna
say, if this map is in the indicator, it looks like smoke coming out of that chimney. So
Yeah, I guess that's fair. All right, so Julia, why don't you roll me a d20? You want less than 10 in order for it to be no smoke.
Okay.
Yeah, that way we can kind of like share the blame. All Alright, there's no smoke, so you're able to get in through the chimney. So,
Murdoch will
Okay.
fly to the door and begin to pull off the board.
so let me tell you what you see as you're about to unbarricade this woman's house here. So Mad Mary is now sitting on the floor instead of the bedroom she was in, and she's clutching a malformed doll. She seems to be lost in her sorrow and is despondent, and she barely seems to recognize you even here in her house. She says nothing, and let's see if I can find a handout for you guys so you can see what she looks like. Here you go.
It is okay, Mad Mary. We will assist you.
Just sobbing away.
I begin to pry off the board.
Alright. Make an athletics. Unless you have tools.
Murdoch has a crowbar.
You can have advantage, and I'll let you reroll.
Murdoch is thankful.
There you go. So
Very
you're
Oh, good.
So you start prying off about 6 2x4s that have been nailed across this door to keep anybody from pushing it through. And Mad Mary kind of been like pushed back, like you would have to push her back to get her out of safe range. And she's clutching this doll, and then eventually you're able to open the door for anybody else that wants to come in.
Murdoch is very sneaky, I tell you this.
And
Dravos already knows this.
Yeah. So they're sitting in the middle of the floor as this woman clutching a malformed doll. What do you guys want to do?
Dravos will step in and is going to ask her, "Excuse me, ma'am, what seems to be causing you such grief?"
She just continues to sob for a moment. My beloved daughter. That's all she.
What
all
about
you get.
her?
I did everything right by her. She broke out of the house a week ago, and now I haven't seen her since. Oh, her mother's worst fears, and it's justified in doing so. Gertruda! She clutches the doll and just buries herself into it.
Do you by chance know where she has gone?
Make a persuasion check to see if you can get anything else out of her.
Okay. Perception, performance, persuasion. I don't think I'm getting
Yeah, so you try to tell her.
Oh,
You try to get more information out of her, but she seems to be locked away. She doesn't pay you any mind, and she just keeps murmuring, Gertruda, Gertruda, Gertruda.
Can I ask Ismark more about this woman?
Sure, what do you want to ask?
I would actually like to know more about if he might know what happened that made her go from regular Mary to Mad Mary.
That, huh? Well, Mad Mary had a daughter. From what I understand, maybe a week or two ago, or may have been longer, I'm not sure. Had my own problems to deal with, you understand. She says her daughter was broke free or ran away. And of course, with the concerns that I have, I can't help but think that maybe Strahd's behind that as well.
So you're telling me that this is not just a once in a time occurrence, this is a common now.
You haven't been here for long, have you?
Our first day.
Yeah, you're inside. She's outside.
Oh.
Yeah, we're in different scenes right
Not
now.
around this area, but I kind of feel bad that I wasn't here sooner, as I try to flirt with him a little bit.
Alright. He looks at you and he nods simply. He's like, well, your earnesty is well met. I appreciate that. Yes, there would have been it would have been a lot better if we had help sooner. He kind of like looks down, sad, and
Well, if you couldn't...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to mention he kind of like looks down, saddened by something more that's on his mind. Though he still offers you a smile in attempt to keep light on what's going on.
Well, if you could tell already from these bumbling guys walking around, it seems like they want to help everybody.
Helping's not bad, but help is not something everybody is, how should I say, a luxury to. It's going to be impossible to save everybody unless you do the one thing that needs to be done. I don't have the power to do it. We just kind of
At this point, Dravos would have picked up Mary and started carrying her upstairs to the bedroom.
Oh, my hero!
And and on the way, Dravos is going to be like, if you would like, my friends and I could see about finding a dog. I make no guarantees, but we could at least take a look.
She, as you kind of set her down on a bed that she was originally crying on, she pulls the dial down to her legs, and you kind of see it in better light. And what you see before you is a malformed doll that has a strange leer and wears a sackcloth dress. And Mary seems to be holding on to it, probably a keepsake of Gertruda, who knows. But there seems to be some stitching on there, but at this moment you don't know fully what it says. And she says to you, if you could find her with new hope in her eyes, that would be most welcome. I would greatly appreciate that. And she's trying not to tear up and break down again.
Okay. At that, Dravos is just going to reach down and give the doll a pat, and then pat her on the shoulder, and then head back outside and close the door behind himself.
Do you want to make a perception check to see what the stitching said?
Yeah, I think I would. 15?
Stitched into the hem of its dress is a frayed tag bearing the words, "Is no fun, is no Blinksky," and I will copy paste that for you.
Okay.
In case you wanted to take a note on that one.
Well, Dravos is upstairs. Murdoch will druidcraft a tulip and lay it in the floor.
Nice.
And then walk outside to meet the Julia and the Lesser.
You asshole.
Oh,
Yeah, Ismark watches you come back and says, well, is your other friend coming back, or do we leave him?
Murdoch does not control other friend. He will come if he comes.
Dravos did. I did say that he was coming back.
Yeah,
outside,
we just had to give everybody else a chance to catch up to your scene. So yeah, you finally come back down the stairs. So yeah, there's going to be some time gaps, and I want to make sure everybody gets a part of that. And then yeah, you do come down. He's like, oh, there he is. Doran and Bran, what have you been doing this entire time?
Hanging out at the doorway waiting.
And Bran, same thing, or Doran, I mean?
No, that was Bran. Yep.
Yeah. See, I'm getting the names confused again. It'll be a while, but I'll get it. Doran? Did we lose
His
him?
Discord's muted.
Doran, if you've been speaking this entire time, we didn't.
Right, no, yeah, that was my bad. I
Okay,
was
welcome
indeed
back.
muted. Yeah, I think Brianna and Doran have just been comparing hairstyles, styling tips and whatnot on the current. Yeah,
See.
whatever's current for the half elves of the realm.
All right, so this is my entire sessions from here on. All right, got it. All right, so yeah, Ismark says, well, if you're done playing hero for the elderly, I will allow you to meet Irina. Shall we go?
During their conversation, Murdoch will mention to the half-elves that if they need help braiding their hair with flowers in it, he is very well kept in the
Ismark quickly walks off, and he doesn't want nothing more to do with this, and he's muttering under his breath like, God save us all.
Julia just paused and go like, yeah! The short amount of time I met them, this is what I've been dealing with.
Oh, the
Dravos
Morning
is
Lord,
gonna ask
take us.
Ismark a question when you're done.
Yeah, so you catch up to Ismark as he's still marching southward. What do you say to him?
I'm like, you wouldn't by chance know a name of Blinsky, do you?
Let me roll something for him because I don't think he would pay attention to dolls. I mean,
No, like it would just seem
He
like an
would.
unusual name.
Yeah, he would have to make a history
Dravos
check.
to be inquiry.
Yeah, absolutely, but he'd have to make a history check because that relates to something that's in a different town.
Oh, okay.
I am not very familiar, though. Where did you see this?
I'm a doll.
A doll.
I just thought the name was unusual.
It is very unusual. I don't think I recognize it, though, friend. I apologize.
Reason to apologize.
No worries, no worries. But, yes, that's the tale of Gertrude. I take it she told you. Her daughter.
Just something about escaping and basically away.
Yes, apparently she ran away, but I would not be far-fetched thinking that the devil himself lured her away. At any rate, and he kind of like reaches the end of the street and has you all behind him. What you see before you is a weary-looking mansion squat behind a rusting iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies cast aside, while the left gate swings lazily in the wind. Stuttering squeal and clang of the gates repeat on a mindless precision. Okay, he finishes his first picture. Good enough. The weeds choke the grounds and press with menace upon the house itself. Yet, against the walls, the growth has been trampled down to create a path all about the domain. Heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish of the walls. Great black marks tell of fires that have assailed the mansion. Not a pane nor a shard of glass stands in any window. All the windows are barred with planks, each one marked with stains of evil omen.
Murdoch would like to know what happened here.
Make a perception check first, and then
Murdoch is decent at perception.
yeah, go for it. Anybody can make this. This is a
Murdoch's rolled like shit.
You know what, Murdoch? That's all you need to discern trampled weeds all around the mansion, as well as a score of wolf paw prints and human footprints. The footprints were made by zombies, ghouls under. Look like zombies and ghouls. I'm not going to give you the last part of that. But yeah, anybody that got 11 or higher got that information. So you kind of know that wolves have trampled in here, and there's been humanoid footprints, and you notice the burn marks on the building. And Ismark kind of like notices you noticing the grounds, and he sighs heavily. Yes, we've had some problems. Though it has been quiet for a few days now. He goes to the door and he tries to open it, and it's locked, and he taps on the door. Irina! Irina! It's me, Ismark! Let me in! I brought help! I brought friends! Come! And you hear some like unlocking, removing of boards, and the door kind of like pulls in a little bit. There's like a chain on it. And she goes, Ismark, who are these people? They are friends. They're going to help. They're going to take you to Valeki. Please, open the door. Let's let them in. He kind of like looks back, and he's like, and he looks at three of you in particular. He's like, I vouch for them. And
Murdoch does not believe that is the safest way. There is magics out there that can make you turn form and change your voice. That is not the safest way to open a door if you're trying to be very safe. But Murdoch's opinion is not needed, and he'll walk in.
Well, the door hasn't opened yet, and Irina's like, I see. And she closes the door, removes the remaining chains of the door, and says, well, come on, let's go. Get in, hurry. And,
Why, thank you, little Irene.
Yeah, and basically, I will give you a handout, and you'll see this lovely picture that she is. And here is Irina Kalyana.
Oh wow, she's pretty.
Yeah.
Now that is a pretty lady.
Murdoch would like to see your vampire bite.
Well, do you say that out loud as soon as you enter?
Murdoch does indeed.
Alright, so yeah, as you all come in, she's got this popped up collar, definitely trying to conceal it, right? And once you're on the interior of this mansion, you can see that it is well furnished, yet the fixtures okay, it's getting late, just to be fair. The interior of this mansion is well furnished, yet the fixtures show sign of great wear. Noticeable oddities are boarded up windows and the presence of holy symbols in every room. The burgomaster is in a side drawing room on the floor, lying in a simple wooden coffin surrounded by wilting flowers and a faint odor of decay.
Oh dear.
And
We are sure that he's not going to get back up, right?
she notices you looking. That's my father. We must take him to the house of the morning lord and bury him. Ismark, we can't leave him like this for much longer. We must do something. And
I can cremate him if you want.
No. And Ismark's like, please. All right, I understand, Irene.
It was just a thought.
Murdoch would like to. Murdoch would like to change the flowers from wilting to blooming again with woodcraft.
All right.
Oh, very nice.
So the flowers rejuvenate into a blooming seam of fresh flowers.
Murdoch apologizes for your loss.
She kind of like looks down at the coffin and sees the flowers renewed, and she smiles softly. It's like, thank you for that. It does mean a lot. But
If
please,
you like,
yes.
for maybe a small little price, I do have some holy water that we could pour onto the body.
I mean, I have a better idea if you'll let me speak my mind. She kind of like looks shakily at all of you. All we need to really do is take him to the Church of the Morning Lord and let the priest bury him properly, and he will not get back up. He'll be safely, put to rest, like he should be. Would you? You say you want to help? Would you be so kind as to help us take him to the church? It's just up the road, just north of the. Ismark, where did you find him? I'm gonna guess. Yeah, I was at the tavern. It's just north of the tavern where you met Ismark. And
I see it on the map.
yeah, it's all the way up there in the north.
Yeah.
If you want to look at the reference there. But she says, if you would be so kind, I would greatly appreciate it.
Murdoch will finish his second pitcher of wine and say, yes, we would be glad to help the lady.
Pretty sure between me and Murdoch, we could carry the coffin by ourselves.
Murdoch is a lot shorter than you. You may need someone else so it's not lopsided.
And the body falls out and rolls down the road.
Well,
no, come back, Father!
Now
Oh
that I
God!
think about it, with my size, I could probably carry it by myself.
It's kind of bulky. I'm still even going to say you have to have at least one more humanoid on either side of it. Like the dwarf over his head.
We could use our
The
draft.
Doran will step forward, and of course, he will offer to help and carry the coffin, the casket, and he extends his condolences to Irina as well.
In Murdoch's opinion, we do have 2 horses we could use instead, just in case these things that attack the house would attack us.
Yeah,
it's literally just up the road, dude. There's no point in getting horses involved.
Ismark kind of like noticed some of you are still banged up, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And he will say, well, how about this, friends? I notice a couple of you seem to be a little worse for wear. Would you like to rest for a short spell, and then we will attend to this?
Murdoch would like that.
All right.
Such a lovely idea.
So,
a short rest, yes?
Yes, by all means. So you guys will spend, this is also including, the short walk, and really, you spend a half hour doing that, and then came down here, and now it's another half hour that you're going to spend just kind of healing up. So if you like to use your hit die to heal, by all means, go for it. And anything you get back on a short rest, you may have it back. So go ahead and roll what you need to do, friends.
Not sure if I get that back home.
Murdoch would like to, if we
as we're resting, Doran's just going to play a little song for everybody. You get an extra.
Yeah. Was that Murdoch that was speaking beforehand, or?
Yeah, it was Stravos.
If Murdoch,
let Murdoch go first. Go ahead, Murdoch.
If Murdoch gets the chance, he would like to try to inspect the body to figure out the type of death that was
Oh, yeah.
distributed.
That's very good. Yeah, make a medicine
You
check.
would like to do it stealthily, if possible.
Yeah, make a stealth check and then a medicine. That's good. Make a medicine. There's no. Let me double check. Like, I think there was a handout for this. Let me double check. This goes into that. Okay, she wants you to take it to the priest. We already said that. The Burgermeisters. Okay. You realize he's been dead for quite a few days. Like, hasn't been a week, but it's definitely been 2 or 3 days. And yeah, you stealthily do this, and then it just comes up in conversation as. I mean, does anybody ask how he dies? Like, that'd probably be the fastest way.
Dravos will.
Yeah, go for it.
If I may ask, Irina, was it?
Yes.
I don't mean to seem presumptuous or rude, but how did he pass?
She lets out a sigh and she tells you that wolves and other terrible creatures attacked the house night after night for weeks. The Burgermeister's heart couldn't stand the constant assault, and he died 3 days ago. Strangely, his death, the house has not come under attack. And then some of you might notice her visibly like bringing her hand to her neck as if to cloak something, and then making sure the collar is covering it.
Are you injured, ma'am? Or actually, would I need to roll a perception to see if I noticed that?
Yeah, make a perception check. Anybody that wants to make that check.
Yeah, I'll go.
I got a 14.
Murdoch's busy looking at a body, so that makes sense. Bran would definitely notice, and so would Julia, but I think Bravos kind of might miss it, just feeling sorry. Maybe you ducked your head down. But the other two, Bran
Bowed
and
my
Julia.
head in respect.
Yeah, Bran and Julia, you just kind of like notice her putting her hand on her neck as if to conceal what might be a bite, and then just double checking the collar to make sure it's covered. If you are all feeling better now after this short rest, shall we be on our way?
Yes, ma'am.
I think I'm going to stay here since, well, I'm not going to be able to carry that thing.
I mean, we would still welcome your presence if you would come with us. Like, you don't have to carry, but please join us. I mean, it's better to be in a group than by yourself.
Fair enough. I shall follow.
Plus, it would probably be out of character of me to let you know that if you don't stay with the party, you might get killed. No, she didn't.
Yeah, I would love to come with a group now.
There you go. Yeah, she didn't really say that, and I didn't really mean
You
that.
guys are great.
Yeah, Ismark is like, I would stay too, but yeah, it is my father. With that, Ismark will also help, and then anybody else who wants to grab a hold of the coffin may do so. And with that, you all progress towards the north, making your way to the church.
Murdoch would like to ask why they call him the Lesser. Is it a bedroom thing, or...
Jesus. He looks at
You're
you.
gonna make this guy hate.
So he looks at you with dead serious eyes. He goes, "Really? You're going to go there with this?" "No, lesser because my father was the light of this town. And I was lesser because I was not my father."
So you are now the Burgermaster?
In theory, I'm sure we might try to elect somebody else. It also depends whether or not I survive this endeavor. I am not out of the sight of Strahd himself.
Okay, did the screen on Roll20 just go black for anybody else, or is it just me?
It's black for me as well.
Alright, don't worry. I'm setting you guys up for the next scene. That means dynamic lighting is in set. So let me move all your characters over, because you will have light once you see. But yeah, continue talking as you're moving to the church. I'm putting you guys at the church, so give me a moment.
As
Murdoch-
we're...
So
go ahead, go
Dravos
ahead.
is here.
Hold on. I think I heard. Is it Doran? Like Murdoch was second.
It's Bran. Bran
Okay,
started.
Bran. Yeah, sorry. I'll get your names figured out in a minute. So yeah, Bran, go for it.
So as we're traveling, carrying the body, I would like to ask the lesser.
Asshole. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Like I'm not attached to him. You go ahead.
I'll say, so since you're the new burger master, how good are these burgers?
Oh God.
Oh my god.
I'm
all
quite
right,
interested.
all right. So give yourself inspiration.
What?
And Ismark
Wow.
goes.
Setting the bar very low.
Yeah. So no. So like, I want you to know I appreciate your joke, but Ismark's like, it really, like, I haven't heard that one before. Well,
It wasn't a joke.
there are no
I'm-
burgers.
I'm very interested.
Like,
He just-
sadly, I literally face palmed myself and ended up poking myself in the eye.
Don't do that, friend. You need your eyesight to see. Anyway.
Luckily, I got given another, so I should be alright.
Alright, so let me bring up the next scene here as you guys approach the church here. If there's any other conversation you want to have before you get to the church, you can do that. as well.
Murdoch would just like to state he meant no disrespect with the lesser, only that it was a name.
Please,
I'm going
Ismark, if you
AFK
don't
for
mind.
just a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, he goes Ismark, if you don't mind.
I would love to talk to Irene since she's the one that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
seems to be the point of interest that we all found about with the letter.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you want to say to her?
Well, I basically gave her my condolences of, like, for her, what happened to him, the previous Burgermeister. But I weasel out a little bit more information by asking her this particularly. It's like, so, how long have you been in this town, and what are some things that might help you feel a little better?
She kind of like stares at you for a moment, and let's see here. I've been here most of my life. The Burgermeister, I don't know if you heard, but I am adopted. But I've been here for most of my life. And things that I would like is for Strahd not to be interested in me.
Oh, so you do know of Strahd, correct?
Yes, I'm afraid I do.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, as I give her a pat on the shoulder.
She nods gingerly, and it's been harrowing, to be sure. But with your aid, I hope that, well, my brother assumes that if we reach Valeki, that I'll be out of reach, but I'm not so sure. His reach is ever so. These are, after all, his lands. And she kind of like rolls her eyes in scorn.
I'm not gonna lie, you kind of cut off there in the end.
Yeah, I
She
was
just
hearing,
kind
like,
of,
bits and pieces.
yeah. Oh, that's fine. I'll repeat myself. She just kind of like rolls her eyes and scorns a bit, just because, you know, it's these lands are Strahd's. Ugh.
Well, I will say as long as I think we're here, well, at least if I'm here compared to the other guys that are bubbling around,
She chuckles a bit.
I will try my best to make you feel, well, lighter heart if I can.
I'm back.
Go back. Well, I thank you for that. And as she finishes that conversation with you, I will read to you what's next. Before you, atop of this slight rise where you guys are carrying the casket, against the roots of the pillar stone that supports Castle Ravenloft, there's like a big old high rise of the pillar stone, and then you can see Castle Ravenloft that stands a gray, sagging edifice of stone and wood. And this church that you're currently at is kind of like loomed underneath the Ravenloft Castle. And like it's way up there. We're talking 400 feet, I think it said. And this church has obviously weathered the assault of evil for centuries on end, and is worn and weary. The bell tower rises towards the back, and flickering light shines through the holes in the shingled roof. The rafters strain feebly against their load. And before you are now two heavy doors of the church and covered with claw marks and scarred by fire. Well, here we
Yes,
are.
the
Castle
only
Ravenloft
sensible-
is directly above us. Is
Oh,
that what
yeah.
I'm understanding?
Yes, it's like up on a big high rise of cliff. But you can't
like a
get direct.
precipice.
Yeah, like you can't get directly there. I mean, if you could logically rock climb, I guess, if you had equipment. But it's like a 400-foot climb to get there. But yeah, there's obviously a different way to get there. But from here, it's just in the background, right above the village, and you can clearly see it now that you're closer up.
Jerry was just going to look at, seeing as you're not helping with the coffin, you mind knocking on?
Before we do that, Murdoch has a question. Did these things only attack the church and your house? I did not see anything else on our walk through the city.
Who are you asking that to directly?
The lesser and the pretty lady.
Yeah, okay, so Ismark looks at you and he's like, well, most people in this town that are Vistani are under his protection, so places like the tavern are safe havens. Any other place, if you don't anger Strahd, he will not attack you, but if you offend him in any way, shape, or form, and he kind of like points at the destruction of the church, and then kind of like back in the direction of his manner, is like, then he will take his wrath out on you. This is why we must get Irina away from here, away from his eye. As you can see, he's looking at us now from above. And Irina like puts a hand on his shoulder. It's like, Ismark, please. I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to get... let's just make sure we can get Father to rest. And
How did the church anger these devil vampire hybrid?
It would be better to ask the priest himself. That is his business, not mine.
Shall we enter then?
Yeah, and who opens the door? I mean, Ismark will go ahead and take the lead. Otherwise, if somebody else wants to open the door, you may.
Murdoch will stay
Well,
behind.
I would think it would make more sense if someone just knocked on the door, but I mean, yeah.
Ismark walks to the
I
door.
can
and...
open the door if you need me
Okay.
to. Oh, I would
And-
love to do a strength check.
Oh, yeah, well, you know what? It's like Ismark goes to the door, and you're right there by him, and he's like trying to push one of the doors open, and you're pushing the other, and he's like, oh, excuse me.
Oh, no. I wanted to help.
But then by all means, milady. And yeah, these doors are not locked, and you can tell just by jiggling the handles, because he was just going to go in.
Well, then I'll just open the door then wide open.
Yeah, so he's like, after you, milady. And the doors open to reveal a 10-foot wide, 20-foot long hallway leading to a brightly lit chapel. The hall is unlit and reeks of mildew. 4 doors, 2 on each side of the hall, lead to adjacent chambers. Ismark starts to lead you through, and he says, the priest, Donovich, he should be up here in the main chapel. And going further in, you can see that the chapel is strewn with debris, and you can hear a soft voice reciting from within a prayer. Suddenly, the prayer is blotted out by an inhuman scream that rises from beneath the floor. Father! I'm hungry! And maybe that's a good place to stop our session for tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. So you walk into the church. You hear the mumbling of a priest who's like, oh, please be the Father to watch over
I will
us."
say before we end, can we at least set the coffin down?
Yeah,
Because I will
absolutely.
forget that I'm carrying it.
No, you do set it like within the hallway. And I'm just gonna finish cleaning up like what you see in here before we finish up. But yeah, you hear the priest, and Ismark is about to go in and talk to him, and then he goes hush, and everybody just kind of like listens, and this loud voice of whatever's beneath the chapel screams out, "Father, I'm hungry!" And yeah, that's where we're gonna pick it up for next week. So, what I
Okay.
would do now is thank everybody for coming out watching. Appreciate it. If you haven't followed, you need to do it right now because we got that cool emote. Let's see here. And also, join us tomorrow night at 6 p.m. where we will go back into Harrowhelm. Me and one other will be able to go there, and we might look for another if anybody else is interested, but you let me know. And Friday is our open roleplay. That happens at 4 p.m. Central. Different times for the week and stuff, so bear with me. And then Monday, 7 p.m. Central, we go back to Alsperia with our homebrew campaign with the actual rule sets, so don't think everything's homebrew. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you then. And then join these guys next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, as we continue the curse of Strahd. And with that, my friends, feel free to say goodnight to Twitch and Facebook.
Good night, Twitch. Good night, Facebook.
Murdoch says good night.
Hey, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Sleep well.
And stay safe.
Don't do drugs.
Bye.
And with that, do you hear the calling? The chaotic calling. Have a good night, everybody.
That is the